Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Tom. How's it going? This week we got Mike Crossman of Claim to Fame. Yeah. Local upstate New York tournament organizer, eSports fan. So we talk a lot about eSports in this one. It's been pretty cool. I like talking about competitive games a lot. It's a neat thing. He actually has a history with like eSports, like sports games, and I was just thinking about that recently, so I got to answer a couple questions on that, which is cool. But it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Hung out, drank beers, talked a lot of stuff about games and stuff like that, where the games are going, what should happen, whatever. Yeah, so I'm going to link all their stuff down below. They just started Patreon. We talked about at the end of the episode, and I was like, oh, you should do this. And we talked about it a little bit more after, and they went through with it. So they've been a Patreon, so I'll put that down there as well. So that if you're like, oh, these guys are the dopest, feel free. Yeah, I hope we do more stuff together and stuff like that. I did the last trailer for them that I don't know where that is. It's on the YouTube channel. So that'll be there too. I'll link that down. But it's on there. I did that trailer for the one event that just happened. So I like working with them. So I hope you enjoy this one and enjoy.
This is your brain. And this
is your brain on Tom.
This is a nice setup here.
Yeah, cost enough. I hope it would be. All right, so here we are, episode 40-something. Mike Crossman of Claim to Fame. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
So how have you been? You guys have been putting out events. You guys are doing things.
Yeah, exhausted. But no, pretty good. I mean, just the typical Sunday chilling, you know, having a beer.
So just to let everyone know, you are Claim to Fame. You guys do a lot of esports stuff and other like nerd activities.
Yeah, we're doing a board game night tonight, so
dope.
Basically, anything that you can have fun with other people, gaming-wise, competitively, recreational.
Yep.
Is what we like to focus on.
Bring people that don't normally hang out to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see all the guys come out and, you know, do their own thing and be sociable, you know?
Yeah. You guys just had fucking... your Immortals. That went well.
Yeah, it did. Thanks for help. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, with Malcolm helping with the bracket and Vargas
Dude, he killed
doing
it.
the stream. Yeah, he killed it.
The second he left, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, he pounded that out. I liked it. You know,
Yeah.
I like it quick like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that makes sense because like for an event that people aren't spending the night, if you're like in like Massachusetts, you can go
Right.
home at 9, so you're home at midnight or something. As
well,
opposed
yeah,
to,
you got to think about the guys at Buffalo.
Yeah,
They
exact
drive
same thing,
4
yeah.
hours. I mean, I think there was some housing, but, you know, getting it done is nice. I mean, commentary kind of wants to drag it out, which is fine.
Yeah.
But because they want to get everybody on.
Right,
but listen, if we could do everything, start it at noon and at 8, 128 people, sign me
And
up.
all the players were happy.
Yeah, all the players were happy.
That's what really matters.
You know,
right?
it was our first big one, so we had a couple. You know, I guess one.
You had one complaint, right?
One complaint, but
was it even the player or just his girlfriend?
I guess they're one. So, I would say both, but like, you know, that's a problem when you do like player privilege.
Yeah. When I heard the problem, it was like a good reason for that to happen. You guys were like trying to give him like, you know, advantage and stuff like that, and have him cut the line and stuff.
Well, one of the complaints was the line was too long.
Okay, but that, I mean, what kind of complaint is that? That's a good complaint for you guys.
It is a complaint. It is a good complaint. But you know, I saw him waiting there with his girlfriend, and I was like, hey, you know, here I got your badge, I got everything. Let's just go. And so he didn't register. So it's my responsibility to register him or let everybody know, hey, he's here.
Yeah.
And then that's where I got mixed up in doubles.
Okay.
But that was our biggest thing. But other than that, everyone liked the venue, which is
it was a sick venue.
Yeah.
You guys used space well.
Yeah, you know, it worked out perfectly. You know, they wanted more setups. I think if we had any more setups, it would have been too cluttered.
Yeah.
You know, because we had 27 and only 25 were used for bracket. There was 2 like friendlies, but they wanted 32, and we didn't need it.
No, I don't.
Especially the way Malcolm did it in pools. And I can't remember the 2 guys that helped during pools, but I think it was Free.
Yeah.
And I don't know the other guy, but they were awesome, and they were handling it pretty well. You know, Grunk helped out a lot too. So it was good to see the community of even different Smash genres come out. So
yeah, it is nice that like. I mean, you guys do a good job of like not creating like animosity between the Smash games.
Yeah.
So like, if people are like, "Oh, we need help," you're like, "Ah, sure, I'll help you out."
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this game, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, Malcolm's he's like the leader.
Yeah. He's so good.
People follow him because he has this presence about him where he just takes care of business. You know.
Yeah.
People like that. You know, sometimes it's a little rough around the edges, but I like that.
No, you need someone with like. I don't want to say like a backbone and like a mean way to other people, but like someone with some stability where it's like, no, this needs to get done now. They cannot wishy-washy. Be like, well,
yeah.
Because then when someone asks that question and then they're like, oh, I don't have an answer.
Well, that's a problem with, and I think that was one of the big problems I saw with the community when we first got on the scene was that people were used to like, oh, that's okay, and Adam was a good guy, but and he was strict, but he was the godfather of running these events. Yeah. But I felt like, you know, some other people just kind of let things go. And you have to have some kind of order. Yeah.
And like, not to put out names or anything, but in that situation, that was very much a negligence. Like, it was just like, oh, it's running itself.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not going to, you know.
And because the community is, I think the Smash community is the strongest gaming community here, or I guess the furthest along, you would say. More established in other gaming communities because I guess there hasn't been anybody to kind of put Overwatch together, put League of Legends together. So I mean, you can understand that.
Yeah, I would imagine it's not the most played game in this area, but it's the one game. Like I think maybe it was in the Smash doc or something I watched with Smash, but like they were talking about the reason it does so well is because the only way you can play is you have to show up together.
Exactly.
So you end up building a community just naturally.
Exactly, and you know, I think everybody is very accepting of other players. I mean, from being outside the community, you can kind of see where there's needs to be some improvements, but you know, those guys run themselves pretty well. Yeah. And like Grunk and Mitsu and Rusent and the guys that are kind of running it now, they're doing a really good job of just being part of the community and getting them out there. You know, we supply the venue, which is nice. Yeah. I mean, these guys can play anywhere. Right. You know, that's a good thing about Smash. You can kind of set up anywhere and play. But I think the venue's nice. It attracts newer players, and that's the big thing about Smash is you need to get new blood in.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a game that will last forever.
Yeah, because you age out.
Yeah,
you know?
And people burn out real fast too.
Burn out real fast. I'm retiring. Yeah. I quit. You know, it happens. I mean, it happens with every game, and you want to keep that refresh in the community, and Nintendo doesn't really support it.
No, not even a little.
I mean, I'm seeing some stuff now because Shine just got partnered with Nintendo.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge thing.
That's a big one, yeah.
So, I think Nintendo starts to see the eSports aspect of Smash. Yeah. And hopefully Smash 5 will cater to more of the eSports. But, you know, some of these guys that, we wanted an eSports and we want Nintendo. Look at Blizzard and Overwatch. Yeah. I mean, look at how they killed the grassroots of the economy for it.
No, it's all... I honestly, like... For the people who are in Overwatch League, great for them. Right. As a spectator and a fan, I fucking hate it. Yeah. It's awful. Right. Every other day, I'm reading a fucking controversy of like, oh, Carpe teabagged this guy. Who gives a shit? Why is he getting fined $1,000 for this? Yeah. Like some of the fines is like some of them get crazy. You're like, well, that's insane. But like to hold players and like the rule book slipped out and like reading some of those things where it's like, oh, you can only do this and this is how you have to stream and it's like you're running these players into the ground and expecting so much of these people who have had. You're like expecting people to act like almost NFL players, but there's never been an NFL before.
Exactly.
And so these are just a bunch of kids who played in their basement, and now they're like,
exactly,
you're a professional player.
And that's the problem. Like we contacted Blizzard, and we were actually going to host, an event for like a Blizzard sanctioned.
Oh
event.
Yeah, really?
Now, Blizzard has all these guidelines and rules what you can and can't do, and we were just like, that really kills like. These players that want to become a pro or want to do something big with Overwatch and they're not a part of a team, it automatically kills that.
Yeah. No, they do. They did it in StarCraft where they kill anything under the top 10%.
Exactly. And that's something I was talking to Malcolm about, like creating the economy for a game. I mean, if you take the bottom end of a game and you just... all the pro players, the top 10 teams in the world are the ones that are only getting highlighted. How do you keep replenishing that?
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have any way for someone who's like kind of taking off and like say, hey, I can do this to your parents, and like I don't believe you at all. Exactly. There's no financial way for them to be like, well, I can kind of do this, and it's like then they stop, and then they quit. So you either have to completely rocket to the top or nothing.
Yeah, and that's that's the one thing that the Smash players, maybe they do understand, but they don't really grasp the concept that if Nintendo backs it, Nintendo's going to be the one that benefits from it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the players or the small businesses like us are going to be like, oh man, like if we want a Nintendo sanctioned event, we got to do this, and that. How do we make money?
Right, yeah.
And then it cuts the bottom line of like these players that are, semi-pro PR players in their region. How do they get to the next level without, these small little businesses doing this?
Right, yeah. And then like if you don't have a sanctioned event, you don't get someone like a Salem to show up your event because like, oh, well, it's not a sanctioned event. Maybe there's like a point system. Oh, I don't get Nintendo points. It's not to my, whatever the end goal is, I'm not going to show up.
Right. And then you don't get that competition, and then your small little communities like the Capital Region or like Buffalo or some of these, smaller regions, not like the city or, Massachusetts or New England, they kind of dwindle down and they just start feeding into other bigger regions. Yeah. And then you cut your bottom line, and then you don't see any new players, and then that's how regions kind of just dry up.
Because I remember when I started getting into Smash, being like, oh, this is a thing that can totally be done. I can just show up at an event and play. Right. It's not like a thing where there is like that was the nice advantage of it, where it's like if I want to get into Overwatch, and when I was at my doing my best with it, I just the only thing I could do was sit in my room and play. Right. There wasn't like a place I could go. There wasn't a place I could facilitate a team. There wasn't it wasn't really a way to do any of that stuff. That was common knowledge.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Like. And Blizzard wants it that way. And Malcolm and I were talking about it because, they benefit from all of it. I mean, they sell jerseys, they make merchandise, they sell arenas. If we had the best team from New York that's not a pro team go to a stadium and play, people are going to be like, who are these guys? Why am I watching them? Right. And there's no benefit to like saying, oh, like I know that guy, It's just... And I don't want that to happen to Smash. Now, Smash is a solo player game. Yeah. There's doubles. So, I mean, it's a little bit different. But, like, these games that don't benefit and they're backed by these big companies, you're just like, oh, hope to God it doesn't kill the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, you think about the NFL, right? I mean, it runs itself. But, like, people that aren't good enough to go to the NFL, what do? Right. And, they say, oh, you want to go to school, you want to teach your kid how to play football. But, like... Where is it going to come into? Is it a hobby, or are you going to make a career out of it? Right. And that's the thing. Well, esports, or people are like, well, it's a video game. It's a hobby first. Right. And it's like a pastime, and then now it's like, oh, now we can make money off of it. Right. Right. So it's a delicate balance, and it's all about the community. Yeah. But if you start hammering away where small businesses can't facilitate like new gamers, might as well just wrap it up. Right, yeah. So that's the thing about esports. It's very delicate because if it's team-based, like Overwatch, you need 6 players. Yeah. Then you need 6 players to play another 6 players, but they don't want to play the same 6. Right, yeah. So you need to facilitate, like, larger venues, which cost money. Right, which they did. They purchased the Blizzard Arena, which I think they use for other... Do they use for, like, the WoW stuff, too? Yeah, I think they do for Heroes of the Storm. But, like, Heroes of the Storm is another beast because... That was their first big thing that they got on TV, like Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, I didn't know it was on ESPN. I didn't know that. I know they have a big college push. Yeah, so they like during March Madness they do like the Heroes of the Dorm, and they have all the colleges do like the 64-man bracket, just like that's awesome. And it's on ESPN. Opposite of basketball, right, obviously. Yeah. but I think it's a good push. I mean. It's a little campy, I mean, the crowd's cheering. What are they really cheering for? It's Heroes of the Storm. I was getting into it, but it's like it's a fun game. Yeah. It's like a lot of fun, but like as a competitive thing, I'd be curious to see how that works out because it's. Yeah, it's hard to think about like, okay, you and I are on a team. I'm doing very poorly, and you're doing very well, but we're at the same level because we level together. I guess there's no bottom line really, unless you're like 3 levels as a team behind another team. You're done. Yeah. But like, you can carry. If you know objectives and creeps and communication, you want to fight well and approach it. Yeah. I don't know. Like League of Legends is a different beast because you know, you're 3 levels higher than everybody on the map, and you're, you know, 10 kills ahead of everybody. You own the game.
Right. Yeah.
And
But then that comes into the point where like you don't know how to close the game out.
Exactly.
You can have like that's where League and Dota are very different. Where you can be great at the early game. If you don't know how to end the game, though, you're still gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because characters are gonna catch up to you, and like you can only get so much ahead of them.
Right. Exactly.
So it becomes it creates a skill.
Yes.
Whereas like Heroes of Storm, like you're saying, everyone's kind of equal, so it's like hard to visualize where the skill difference is.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're playing, like if you even play Dota, you're like, oh, just moving the character is a skill on its own.
Exactly.
So this guy's really good.
And that's why I don't play Dota.
Yeah. Dota's hard.
I mean, I played Dota at like when it was a Warcraft 3 mod,
Mm-hmm.
you know, custom game. That was fun. Like when they were first making it.
I never played Warcraft 3.
I love that game. Actually, they just redid it for widescreen.
Oh no shit! Really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
I mean, the queue times are forever because I don't play solo.
Mm-hmm.
Solo is just like whoever can rush the fastest. You know,
Yeah.
like just like StarCraft, Zerg
Yeah,
rushing.
yeah.
Like it's you know the game is built to rush and get
Mm-hmm.
people tilted and leave. I like to do 4v4, but that's like super like AFK or backstab, and you know it's just about. I like playing with a lot of people. I don't like solo games. I was never big into like, you know, the Zeldas and you know Zelda. I mean, yes, but like you know the big one single player games. I mean, having a twin brother, you can't really play a solo game.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
so,
right.
You know, you got to play a team based game or like alternate back and forth. So always in the competitive, like who's better.
Right, and that's always fun. I always like I was just sitting around yesterday until you like reached out for Overwatch. I was like, man, I really want to play like an online game right now. And you're like, Overwatch, like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's exactly what I need right now.
And it's fun because like if you lose, so what? You know what I mean?
It gets kind of frustrating.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. But that's because we're competitive.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We're not just like lay over like Big D. You know. This game sucks. Or, you know, whatever. It's like you know you want to win, but also we don't. Also do the right things to win all the time.
No, right, exactly.
Like we don't have communication.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like I'm in the zone and you won't hear me.
Right, yeah.
Like, hey Mike, you still there? You know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like I mean I think you were in the last I think it was the second last game last night, or I was like 58-2.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but you didn't hear anything.
Right, yeah,
out of me.
exactly.
I was just jumping in, doing my thing. And when I start talking, is when I start sucking.
Right, yeah.
It's weird.
It's like that's the thing too. I noticed like at least back when Overwatch was starting, a lot of the shout callers played Lucio. Because mechanically, you're not doing as much. Right. So you can, and like, if you're using like wall climbing and stuff, you can like watch the battlefield really well and you'll know where everyone is.
Yeah.
So like, that was a position where like the older players, like when the game came out, a ton of Quake players switched over and all playing Lucio. And I was like, that's so weird. The people who have like the best aim are playing the character with the worst gun.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm just tired, man. I'm just old. I just want to play the game and make money, but I'm not going to do all the crazy shit that I did when I was 18.
That does make sense. I mean, the game is very like, if you don't communicate, you can tell a difference between a team that is going to win. Our Monday nights. Those team, that 6 play together all the time.
Right, yeah.
So they know what they're doing and communicate and everything. And then you got people that are like randos that come together and they don't talk.
Right, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, why did we get mopped so hard? Well,
right, yeah.
You know, there's no call outs. There's no like.
Even something as small as having everyone understanding the same call out.
Right.
You know, if you're on Hanamura and you go, oh, they're in the house, if that could be the house on the right, house to the left.
Yeah.
You don't know. But if like you're just like, if whatever your team comes up with just like a common thing, that's why Counter-Strike is nice because everything has a name that everyone just knows.
Right.
So like you can do a pub game and everyone just goes, oh, they're over here, and you go, all right, cool, and everyone just looks exactly in that spot.
Exactly.
But Overwatch doesn't really have that. So if you just develop that kind of rapport with the 5 other people you're playing with, and you can build it up and do all that kind of shit.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like, if you're gonna go dive, like I'm Winston, so and I don't change. Everybody knows I don't change. So like, either we're gonna dive, or it's gonna be like I'm just gonna go in and keep dying and trying to get 2 picks.
Right,
you know,
right.
and so I mean, in my mind, I'm like, all right, you guys play whatever you want. I'm just gonna either dive with somebody or I'm just gonna go in by myself.
Right.
And Vargas was like, oh, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, that's just the way I play the game. Like, I've been, playing the game. I have 600 hours on Winston.
Right.
So like that's how I do it.
Yeah.
You know, and
I prefer playing dive. Way more active, way more fun.
Yeah, I like to. I mean, I'm very aggressive. Every
Yeah.
game I play, even Smash, like the fighters.
Yeah.
I don't block. I don't reset my neutral. I just go in and hope that I'm like in someone's head. And and if I take a game off someone, it's because I was in their head, not because of skill.
Right, you're pushing buttons better
Yes,
than the other. Yeah.
I'm just like there's like I play against Dark Wizzy or like OT, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just trying to spike you." You know,
yeah.
like that's all I care about. And like I don't take it like, oh, I need to be the best player. I just
Right.
want to get what I want to get. you
Right,
know?
yeah.
And for certain games that's okay, you know. But for like games that I really like, I was big into sports games.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, that's a whole different beast. But you know, I was very competitive in those games, and those are just go. You
Right.
know, it's not like a fighter where you have to read the opponent and do your neutral and stage control. You know,
Yeah.
none of that stuff. It's just like, okay, pass or run.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
And like see their defense, and you know, it's in FIFA the same thing. Soccer, it's a soccer game.
Yeah, there's like a budding esports community for those games now too.
Oh yeah, I mean, back in the day, let's say 13 years ago now. I mean, Madden was huge with like the Madden bus and like the competitive scene for Madden. There was just no bottom end for it. Like top players would take everything.
Oh right.
So that
okay.
you know what I mean. Like you get third, and you're like, hey, good luck next time. You know, where other games, if you get third, at least you're getting your money back and a little compensation. Madden was like, you pay for your own hotel, you pay for your own travel, unless you were like the top player. You know, and players are just like, oh, I'm done with this.
What's the format of that? Like, how was it? Just like a normal sports tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's bracket single elim.
Okay. What was like the time per quarter? Just the 5 or whatever the standard was?
I've been out of the game so long, but I think it's like 5-minute quarters running clock, and then everything is set on all Madden, I believe. So like the computer is not like dumb.
Oh, okay.
So like if you're not controlling a certain character, they're not just gonna stand there or whatever.
How do you pick a team? Do you just
There's different. You can do all random. So like you get 3 randoms. You hit random 3 times, and then you can pick between those 3 teams.
Okay.
Once you pick that team, you're that team for the whole tournament.
Okay.
So I mean, there's different ways that they do it. They do like every round is random again.
Okay.
And then like someone can counter, like ban one of the teams.
Okay.
So if you get like the New England Patriots, the best team, they'll just say, okay, no,
Right.
you got to
Okay.
pick from the other 2.
Okay.
So I mean, everything's different. You can run it your own way because there's no like statute for it. I mean, the Madden bus was completely different. You know, they had everyone knew across the country this is how you do it.
Okay.
But from tournament to tournament, it's different.
Okay.
You know? You get the community and say, hey, what do you guys want to do?
Okay. 'Cause I always thought it was like a cool idea because like this is gonna be a weird example, but 4chan used to run a PES tournament every year where each board would have their own team and each player would be like based off a meme of that board. But the way they would do it was every character was, I believe it was 60, and you had like 2 70s or 3 70s, 2 80s, and a 90, and you could put them in any position.
Okay.
So if you're like, as a board, you determine our goalie is going to be our 90, then that would be your 190. Or you could have your forward be the 190. And like that was how they set it up. So each team had the same like overall score, but the various positions were different, and that would change like how certain things like played out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool way. I'd imagine a tournament that takes way too fucking long, but I thought that was a really cool way to handle it.
Well, the big thing with like fantasy now, like, you know, like fantasy football and fantasy baseball, basketball, all these sports, is now they're implementing them in the video games. So you can do like a fantasy draft.
Okay.
And draft the players on a team, and you can do it that way. They have like player cards where you get these cards, like a card deck.
Okay.
And like you open the pack, and those are the players you get.
Okay.
And then you play the tournament with those players.
That's kind of cool.
So it's not like you're picking a specific team and you know who's on the team. It's just like you're wearing whatever colors, but you have, you know, these cards and these attributes, and someone might be like a legendary card, you know, and it might be their running back or something like that. So, I mean, they're going down the rabbit hole with all the different things there, but I think those scenes are more, you know, a lot of the sports teams are buying into them now. Like NFL teams have Madden teams, and NBA has an NBA 2K league now.
Okay.
FIFA has an E league now.
Yeah, I've seen them at. I went to the casino in all our safety for the first time. They were playing it, And I like was sitting with my dad. I'm like, that's a game. He's like, what, really? Because it looks so fucking real.
Yeah.
And so everyone went, like, until they would pull out and you'd see nerds in like jerseys with controllers. You're like, you would have no idea it wasn't a real soccer game.
I know. I mean, the graphics are getting so real. Like, if you're sitting like 20 feet away, you think you're watching a game.
Yeah.
You know, and like even the referees movements.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
yeah, there were refs. There were refs on the field and stuff. They're moving. I just happened to look up. I'm like, the way people are moving. That's a game. That's someone rigged that model. Like that's not a normal person.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't even tell. How do you know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Like we're gonna reach that point.
Yeah,
real soon.
And the thing is like people are like, oh, VR is the next thing, and AR, augmented reality, and like, yeah, that's fun, but like then like, why don't you just do the real sport? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe you're not big enough to play football and you want to play it on VR. That's fine, but like honestly, VR screws me up.
I've never used it.
Your perception, like you know, your reality is here. If it's just here and you physically can't feel it. I mean, it just for me it throws me off.
I know they were saying, or people are thinking about doing basically like peripheral screens. So like instead of it just being in front of your eyes, there was 2 screens to like just off to the side, just so like when you're staring at something, there's still stuff going on around you. So it would kind of help minimize that a little bit.
That would definitely help because if you have to turn to look, that's like really like
it's really weird.
Like
just to see something off to the side slightly, or like got to move your whole head.
Yeah. That just throws me off way too much.
I've never used VR because the only opportunities I ever had to use it was at PAX, and I am just deadly afraid of nerds giving me pink eye, so I just haven't fucking given it a shot.
I mean, that's a valid point there. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I'm just like, and like I watch them like wipe them down every time everyone uses it. I'm like, I just don't trust you. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Because like 2 years ago we went to PAX and I didn't bring hand sanitizer. And I got fucking sick for like 6 months. Yeah. And now every time I go, I just like play one test demo. I'm like, all right, hand sanitizer. That controller was disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with that many people and the hygiene there, it wasn't too bad this year, I don't think.
Honestly, even just even if everyone was hygienic, just the amount of human beings touching one piece of plastic over and over again is going to put something there.
That's true.
Something's going to grow.
That's a good point. That's why alcohol kills everything. Yeah. You can drink afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, God. That was a great weekend.
Oh, man. That was fun. You know what's funny is, like, every time I'm like, oh, we're going to go to PAX East, I'm like, oh, is it going to be better than the year before? Or like, you know, is this party going to be better? And it's always better. I mean, like, just the sheer getting out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather was a big point. It wasn't too cold. Last time it was snowing.
It's insane. They need to nail down when they do this, and I'd prefer it be like late April.
Yeah, late April.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Even this past weekend.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. This has been perfect.
Yeah, so I don't know why they do. It's got to be timing and everything, but
I know the one year they did that year was like there was like mountains of snow. At least some guy in the line I was with was like, oh yeah, they fucked up like planning. Like they went to ask for the date they had the year before, and then they were like, oh, it's booked. So they had to go a little earlier or whatever, but...
Yeah. I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, trust me, I know when I plan stuff, I'm just like, oh man, I totally forget about the weather because it's up, the Northeast. You never know. Like, we could have had a huge snowstorm and been like, oh God.
Yeah,
you
never know.
You never know, unless it's June.
Yeah, exactly.
June or past.
Like when I went to Genericon, I was going to go on Friday, and they're like, and it's closed. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, we were supposed to be there Friday, and they didn't let us know until like 1 a.m. Saturday
Oh, really?
morning.
I was wondering how that was going to go. Because, like, I had looked at the list, and I'm like, oh, you guys are going to be on Friday, so I'll stop by and say hi, and then some other stuff was going on, and I was like, oh, I'll do these things. The most things I wanted to do was on Friday.
Yeah.
And they closed it, and I was like, man, that would really suck if you're, like, some voice actor that came out of the area to, like, do a thing, and now it's like, oh, it's canceled, or we're going to try to squeeze you in here. It's like, this blows.
Yeah.
But I guess what happens when you run a fucking event in January.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you never know with the snow. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes, like, they're probably thinking, oh, and when they book it, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
You can never guess on the weather here.
No, yeah. I'm surprised how many events we have running in, like, cold times in Northeast where it's like, and always it can go crazy.
I know.
Like, you think someone would be like, no, you know what? All events run from June to August. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, if you really think about it, Saratoga is always awesome because they only run events from like this time to this time.
Right, yeah.
If you go any other time, it's like completely dead, or it's like unless it's a Saturday night at a club, like, I think they've got it.
Yeah,
down,
they figured it out. Yeah.
Lake George too,
Yeah.
I mean, it's Lake George, so.
I assume Lake George benefits from Saratoga.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle owns a pizza shop up near Lake George.
Oh, nice.
And during the summer, he just like makes all his money for the year.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, I mean, even that 1 month at the end of the summer. So like it doesn't matter if he's open in the winter, and he doesn't have to advertise his pizza.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But they do benefit from like people traveling in that area. But Lake George is its own entity, and it's just like it's crazy like how much money they make in those 3 months, 4 months if they're lucky. You know?
Yeah, it's so weird, like how that works out. Because like there's not like a big pull like for Schenectady or Albany or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of a year-long thing. But when it comes to like a little bit up north, then it's just like, oh, it's May now, and now these places explode.
Well, the thing about Albany and Schenectady is like everything was like relevant back in the day,
right?
Like Proctor's and like these theaters. And they kind of just banked on that for a while. So you think about it, like the Times Union Center was okay. I mean, like the only thing I ever heard that was like big were like maybe a few like musicians came once in a while, and then WWE.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's all I ever used it for when I was a kid. Yeah, growing up, just going to WWE events.
I mean, they lost like the hockey team and the football team.
Yeah,
and, like those kind of just died out, and like I was surprised they brought them back because like they don't think it's gonna happen again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like how is their marketing team any different?
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is because you think it's like with the capital city, there's a bunch of people live here. You think that shit would like take off, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like how you present it to the people.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, and who really stays in Albany after they graduate? You know, like unless you're going to college for free now.
Yeah,
it's like you have to stay in Albany for 5 years after you graduate. But like, I mean, even Schenectady, you drive down and you're like, oh my God, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
You know, like they have Proctors and they have bow ties, right? Bow ties?
Yeah.
And they're starting it, but then like what do you really do there? Like, what are you going to gauge the interest?
There's a couple of bars now, but when I was like a kid, like that Main Street Schenectady, there was nothing. Bowtie wasn't there. Like Proctor's barely did anything. Like, it's crazy that like they've reinvented it a little bit, but like it's still got ways to go before it's like
that's part of the thing when people say, oh, you guys want to do esports here, why don't you go to the city? Well, one, the city's oversaturated. I mean, like there's hundreds of people doing what we do.
Yeah.
And like that's fine, but like I don't want to live in the city. I hate New York City.
Do you really?
Yeah, I hate it. I love Boston.
Okay.
I just like how clean and nice and like everyone's nice there. I mean, you get your people, but in the city, it's always a problem. Maybe it's because I go to Yankee games.
Probably. That's probably the start of your problem.
Yeah, that and like I just never have fun there.
No, really.
I just maybe because I just put it in my mind when I was younger that I hate this city.
Yeah.
But, when I want to go to a city and spend money and have a good time, I think of Boston. Well, my wife went to school in Boston. That's why. So I would be in Boston every other weekend.
Okay, right, yeah.
And we'd have so much fun doing stuff there. And then the city, I guess I went to the city with my family where you couldn't do anything. Yeah. So you always have that stigma like, oh, I can't do anything here.
Yeah. Are you guys from around here primarily?
Yeah, we grew up, so we were born in North Carolina.
Oh, no shit.
My dad was in the military.
Okay.
And then when he's originally from Glens Falls, so we just moved up here. And he was Albany PD for 20 years.
Oh, no shit.
So he just recently retired. And he's TSA now, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's funny because, like, I moved away to Boston for a couple of years. Well, a little bit south of Boston. And when I came back, it just felt like nothing changed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh, that's,
and people say that all the time. Like, I leave and I come back and nothing's changed. And, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, no, it never has.
But I like it because our family's close, especially having a family. Free babysitting.
Oh, yeah.
You can't beat that. And like just growing up here, knowing everything, it's like being familiar with everything. It's nice, So
that's my parents when I was like maybe 2. My dad used to work for Toyota. He works for Nissan now, but Toyota wanted him at their like main fucking office in California, and he turned it down because he was like, I don't want to raise a family in California, so that's why we're over here. But like, because that's the exact reason. Family is just a lot easier over here, and it's a lot nicer, and it's a little bit quieter, not insane, hectic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so when we started Claim to Fame, we wanted to do something different, but also like on our own terms. Like we took baby steps. We introduced ourselves to all the local businesses, which didn't go over too well. But, and we just kind of did it. I mean, it's our side project. Like, we all have full-time jobs. We all have our own careers and doing whatever. But
right.
Obviously, like with the growth of esports, we wanted to do it here where we knew everybody and had the connection. So, and it's just like, I think it's funny. It's so untapped here.
Yeah.
And you can see it even just with the Smash community. And like we did Overwatch and we had awesome nights. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think they're Monday nights too. It's not like it's a Friday night or a Saturday night
yeah.
where people can come out and of all ages and enjoy it on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing these on Monday nights where it's like, what do you really want to do after a long day on a Monday? Not
Right.
go to Crossgates and play video games.
Yeah.
I mean, some people. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We make good
It's
money.
definitely not going to be your first thought, though.
Right. Exactly. And so we did it primarily as like a research thing for us. Like,
Okay.
So if we end up getting a gaming lounge, which we're pretty close to,
Awesome.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're probably going to be dead.
Right.
You know, at night.
Yeah.
Unless you have something going on, like specials or something. But, like, it's really just your research. It's like research and development for us.
Right,
So
yeah.
we know, like, okay, Mondays are going to be a dead night for us. We know that. So what can we actually do and gauge it? So, you know, this will be, like, the efficiency of 10% of the max usage, you know?
Right.
And so we can gauge this is what our numbers will look like.
Right.
And that's basically what it started off as. I mean, we're in Crossgate, so it's not like completely dead.
Right.
But we do our own advertisement. You know, we don't pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to do it. We do like the free stuff.
Right.
Facebook, Reddit,
Right.
Twitter.
Reddit's a huge one.
Reddit is a bunch of trolls. But you know how Reddit. But
Right,
like,
but it like when I did the first trailer for CGC, I just gave it to Tristan or Malcolm, whoever, you know, and
Yeah.
Tristan posted it on Reddit, and that's where it blew up. And people were like, in the PM community, and PM community is small, so everyone's kind of like insular and just looking to help each other out, but like they were all like, oh shit. So like I guess that was like showcased on some like this month in PM, and like that trailer got like posted as like here's a cool thing that happened. So
yeah,
like
it's awesome. It was an awesome trailer.
yeah, so, but like that would never have happened because I would never think to use Reddit because I never do.
Yeah.
That's just not a thing I use on a regular basis. But like it's huge. Like
Yeah.
like if you can hit the right communities and you're like building like a small base, just because like I'm telling this to my brother a little bit where it's like just reaching out to a greater internet where it's just like even if you're super far away and you're like oh this thing resonates with me, this thing is cool. I'm going to support this thing or just keep my eye out on this thing and see what happens, stuff like that, and just build from there. Or like when, you know, when I first got into Smash, I just wanted to Smash boards, and there was immediately a thread that day, hey, what's the Smash scene Upstate look like? I was like, oh shit, that's me. And like that just felt good. I was like, oh, there's other people that are, you know, people are crazy like me and trying to play this stupid game at a competitive level.
Yeah, exactly. And see, but here's the like opposite of it. It's like that's cool to like have that small like community feel, but how do you turn that into like a scene like Southern Cal? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, right, yeah.
So how do you transition to it? And it doesn't just happen overnight.
No.
I mean, you could have like a Dark Wizzy, which could blow up the scene in this area, but like, how do you transform it? How do you make that person like make this scene like that? And it can't just be one player. It has to be the whole community.
Oh, right, yeah.
So like, it's cool to see like, you know, some of the stuff, but then when you're just like, oh, okay, what's the next level?
Right.
Like you got to be hungry for that too, because if not, then you just kind of cap and like it is what it is.
Right, yeah.
And,
No, that's exactly it.
And I think that's what this community kind of was for a while.
Oh, definitely.
It was just like you said, runs itself.
Yeah.
I'll do a sponsored ad on Facebook. It's like, what are you really trying to get it out of it?
Right, yeah.
And that's why, you know, we focus on like marketing it, trying to get it towards the community and the players.
No, yeah.
Because if you're trying to say, oh, this company does this and this company runs that, like, then it's just another like, oh, they're just trying to make it. They're just trying to make this money and get this done. Rather just put it back into the community's hands, which Malcolm does a good job of.
Yeah. No, that's really good, especially for like, and like Smash's biggest advertiser is going to be the tournament.
Right.
The tournament go well is a top player saying I had a good time. Has they had a big problem with that at one of the tournaments? A bigger guy showed up and it didn't go well for him and he hated it and he started being like, yo, I'm never fucking showing up to an Upstate event ever again, and like caused some problems, and there was a little bit of a people would like, because I've never been like on the tournament end side, or like anyone in like the helping build stuff, even though as much as I tried and when I first started they didn't fucking want me, so fine. But I kept hearing, because I had other people who were, and they were like, yeah, this is crazy, and I'd like read like text logs of this guy being like, oh fuck, this is terrible. So if you're not having that, you're definitely starting to build that next step to that next, other people going, oh, okay, cool, I might show up to that. Or when they have another one, I'll put that out there. Or like maybe they just tweet it themselves.
It's funny because we still get the repercussions for that, honestly. Because I can
imagine.
When we announced an event, they were like, oh, is so-and-so doing this? Because I'm not doing it.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, no, it's a separate entity. It's like someone different. and people were like registering right there on the stream.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was all over the stream in Boston when we were over there. It's still resonating.
Yeah, I can imagine. I imagine that's the case because like it was such a bad taste. Like it's the thing with this. What seems to have been the history of this area and a lot of that stuff where it's they're not trying to make anything better. They just kind of spin their tires in their own little world. And with you guys actually kind of trying to fix that and build out and change things, where it's like it's nice for someone like me when I was like I was just talking to my grandfather about this, but like when I was growing up, I would look into. I go to Wikipedia and look up Schenectady. Who's famous from Schenectady? Oh, no one. And look up stuff that came out of Schenectady. Oh, nothing. And like nothing cool that I thought was cool. I mean, sure, there's like GE and all that shit, but like I'm looking for like a director or a professional gamer or something like that, and that didn't exist. And then you look at like, oh well, but there's no place to even facilitate that, and you guys are trying to do that, which is nice. Yeah. And it's cool that you guys have that. So even though you guys are starting in a small area that's kind of little, you could have some kid just show up and be like, oh, this is awesome. I just finally have a place where I can hang out and be cool. And then also starting to build a tournament scene where now it's going to reach out to even more people that come in. So it works both ways now, and I think that's good. But you guys are starting on a back foot with the previous.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we said baby steps, because listen, that venue, people were like, that's the best venue I've ever been to. And I mean, besides majors, let's say.
Right.
And like, we could have been like, okay, we're going to throw a ton of money at this, and we're just going to get our name out there, and that's our goal. That's not what we want to do. Yeah, exactly, because you could make a ton of money, or you could lose a ton of money based on how you present yourself. Yeah. And when we started this 2 years ago with Smash, we didn't say, okay, we have the money, let's throw all this money into this pop bonus, all this equipment, and just run an event.
Oh yeah,
no, we built it up. We've done weeklies, bi-weeklies. We go to out of region. People know us our face to the name. Yeah. And, we build a reputation and a relationship with these people. And then when we say, hey, listen, we go out to their regional, we talk to them, have a good time. And then we say, hey, listen, we're planning our own regional. Why don't you come out and do this? And they're like, oh, yeah, awesome, And we got so much support from out of region. It was like insane. You know, I mean, we got it sucked that Glitch was happening, but we had support from the city, Jersey. I mean, they didn't come up, but like we still had support from them.
And isn't only Glitch the reason that happened because they thought you were the old guard? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they don't like this region or don't like respect it. I don't know if they don't like it, but they don't respect it. Right. From the conversation I had with them.
That makes sense.
And they just didn't care. Yeah. Like that they didn't know who we were. They didn't care. And so it was like,
and that's a growing pain thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I literally messaged all the TOs in this region. I said, hey, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. I don't like to jump in and surprise.
No, right. Yeah.
And so that's how I did it. And I didn't really think of them because I didn't think Virginia was that in our region.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't really talk to them. But they knew that we had an event because I talked to the kids from the city and I talked to the kids from Jersey. Okay. So the city and Jersey kids go down there for Glitch. Okay. And they knew we were having the event. And so we announced our event. And then literally, I think 2 weeks later, they announced their event the same day. Okay. And he told, I talked to one of their TOs and he told me, oh, I didn't see it on Smash GG. Did you even look for it? Yeah. Because it's clearly there.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And when they announced it, we already had 70 pre-reg. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, maybe we can work something out where, this is how businesses work.
Right.
But then again, we had a cap, so it really didn't matter.
Right, yeah. And you guys hit that easy. So.
Easy. And so it wasn't really gonna. I don't think the kids from Canada. There was a couple kids from Canada at their event.
Yeah, there was one kid that I kept. He was good. He had a name that I couldn't.
Mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's a mistake. Yeah, he's pretty good. And I mean, if that event wasn't going, I'm pretty sure he would have came to our event. Okay. But regardless, we were capped, so it didn't really matter. But it's just professional courtesy. Like, hey, I see you guys are doing this event. We're gonna announce this, but there you go again.
Yeah.
There's like nobody really knew who we were.
Right. But
And
if you have a guy like Salem, like, and you posted about him having a good conversation, he's looking for the next one. That's amazing to have him in your corner.
Yeah.
Just to it's weird to think, but almost like support the top people, like make them happy. Not to the point where you just suck their dick the whole time, but like make them happy so that when they're gonna, because they're the ones with the biggest voice. So if they just go, hey, I had a lot of fun at this weird event in the Upstate, like I'm probably gonna go to the next one. Then someone else who's like, where's he in Salem from?
Originally he's from Jersey.
Okay.
So that's where he got big, and then now he lives in Florida.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he flew all the way up
No
here.
shit. Okay, that's amazing.
And then he had an event the next day, so he flew from Albany to Orlando.
No shit.
So like he could have easily been like, I don't need to go to that.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, a lot of it had to do with Wizzy too.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
oh right.
Wizzy is respected in the community because just his Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't need
He's
to.
popular. Yeah, he's popular. Yeah. Social media also completely. I totally don't get it. But
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Like I'm like trying to be professional, but then I post a meme and everyone likes it. So it's like whatever. So I plan on the seed with them because I have no problem talking to these top players.
No, yeah.
They don't frighten me.
No,
they
yeah.
don't like. I don't like.
You make them as important as they are.
I talk to CEOs of like multi-million-dollar companies.
Yeah.
Every other day, let's say, right. Mm-hmm. A top player in a video game doesn't.
Oh right. Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're talking to him. Like, yeah, we talk on Facebook.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you're friends with him on Facebook. Yeah. I mean, you got to think like without companies like us, they would be nobodies.
Right. Yeah.
Not nobodies, but like you have to have a bottom end to have a top end.
Right. Yeah.
So, and you got to make your mark somehow.
Yeah.
So, I chatted with them a few months ago. I said, hey, we're doing this event. We'd like it if you come up, if you need help. I mean, he has a sponsor, so he doesn't need help.
Right, exactly.
We can work
and a big name
out.
sponsor, too.
Exactly. He said, sounds interesting. I'll see it. I check my schedule, whatever. Plant the seed.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks for your time, whatever, And then, Wizzy announces it on Twitter, and he tags all these people, and then it just goes from there.
Yeah.
You can't just say, hey, listen, you're the second best player in the world. I'm going to pay for your flight, your house, all your food here. You know what I mean? Like, you got to show some respect for yourself.
Right, yeah.
And, and the fundraisers for getting players out here, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like sometimes you just need to like say, hey, you either want to come or you don't.
Right, yeah.
And I think the region gets a little bit more respect when you're saying, hey, if you can make it, you can make it. That's awesome. Yeah. We don't need to raise X amount of. We're not a major.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not like one of these events where they fly out the top players and then you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so it was done wrong, I think, in the past.
Yeah,
where you're getting these players out here, but at what cost? What do you actually get out of it?
Yeah. No, you don't want to bruise your knees trying to suck their dick. So I think it's like a good thing that you treat them like a person. Yeah. Like, hey man, try it. Hang on here.
Don't get me wrong. We helped out some players. That the first players that announced that they were coming, but like they're local. You know what I mean? Like hey, you need a place to stay. We can find you a place to stay.
Yeah.
Hey.
You can definitely offer that, but don't be like, yo, I'm gonna pay for this and this and this and this and try to
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, you don't want to like feel like they're more important than you.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they've achieved a lot, but at the same time, you're a business.
Yeah.
You're trying to facilitate something that you're bringing. Like, what's the value of you if you're just giving the money away?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, your flight, that's $700. No worries.
Yeah.
Like, people think of both ends of it. Yeah, that's nice, but then why are they going out of their way to do this?
Right. Yeah. You want to be, like you said, respectful to yourself and not just. Money's not going to solve all the problems.
Exactly.
If they don't want to show up, but they're going to show up because you're going to give them, $1,400 just to fly out and live there and do this event and then go home, like, sure, but they have to. If they're just like, I'm actually genuinely interested in this event and I kind of like the guy that I was interacting with. Yeah, sure, I'll try this. And then you're someone with Salem who's lucky and has Team Liquid behind him, so you got this huge person. You can probably just reach out to your rep and be like, hey, I need like $700 to fly. All right, cool. There you go.
Yeah, and so he stayed with my brother, because he right next to the airport, whatever. And he, basically told them pretty much how like Team Liquid treats him. They pay for his events if they're PGR, so if they're nationally ranked events, like as long as he's earning something out of these events, that's how they get their name out there, and that's perfectly respectable.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like they're an established company anyway, so like for them to get into Smash, they don't need to.
Oh no, not at all.
So
yeah. And like especially with like a Team Liquid, I assume their main goal is to get players who have their name next to their name, just to put the name out.
Exactly.
They don't care, especially in Smash, so a game like that barely kind of makes money.
Yeah.
It's like just put the name out there. Some kid who's like, oh, Team Liquid, that's cool, and then maybe 3 years later they get into StarCraft randomly. Oh, hey, Team Liquid's here too.
Yeah.
And they go into that.
Well,
and
think about it like that. Yeah, exactly. It's advertisement. Like if they buy their jersey, okay, so their jersey's what, $80?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So if 4 people buy their jersey because this one kid went to one event, guess what? They just made money off nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
So I mean, think about NFL jerseys.
Yeah.
They cost $120.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna play like that player.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna make it any better. Yeah, that was one of the things I read. Or I was watching a video about like how to make it on like an internet content person, and like the big one was like just make shirts. Even if it's like you make a shirt for like $20, 4 people buy it. Oh boy, look at all this money that just showed up out of fucking nowhere because you drew a design and put it on fucking Redbubble.
Yeah.
That's like the big one. So I can imagine, especially in the Smash avenue for Team Liquid, it's like we just need to sell shirts.
Yeah.
We're just getting shirts out there. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But people are gonna do it.
Yeah, because it costs them like $10 to make 100 shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like so much profit to be made there. But see, that's the thing about esports. It's like, okay, you're hitting a demographic that like, yes, well, the problem that we get from people is like, well, you're hitting a demographic that doesn't make a ton of money. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a valid point. Okay, like the systems, the equipment, they all cost money. So like, how are you getting more money out of them? Mm-hmm. And it's not about like extracting them to make them poor people.
Yeah,
it's like what they get out of it and what you give to them.
Right.
And people don't understand, like, you think about it like exactly like sports. Like, people sell their jerseys. Yeah. What are they getting out of that jersey? They're just representing that one player on that one team.
Yeah.
But it's about, like, okay, being enthusiastic about it, like, creating that community. And like, it's the same thing with esports. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're not killing each other on a football field, but they're playing video games.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest debate I have with people is, like, it's not a sport. It's esports.
Oh, I imagine you probably have that all the time.
Oh, my God.
It's probably a constant conversation with you.
Yeah, because I'm big into sports, too.
Yeah.
So, like, I can have a discussion, not argument, with somebody. It's like, hey, listen, it's called electronic sports.
Yeah.
Like, it's a competition.
It's a competition.
There's a winner, there's a loser,
Yeah.
there's money to be made, and there's money to lose. Like, what is a sport? Like, if you want to break down the definition of a sport, let's bring it all the way back to like hunting is a sport,
right?
Like, okay, like
golf is a sport.
Like, so you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, really, we're gonna get super technical because you don't like video games,
right? Exactly. Yeah, there's probably more like technical skill involved in playing Melee than there is fucking watching someone play golf.
Exactly.
Like the shit that's got to go through that is so much like. Yeah, not to totally dump on golf, but fuck golf.
And you know what's funny? It's like, you have to practice. You can't just pick up.
No, not at all.
You can't just pick up a controller and be the best in the world.
No, yeah.
Just like you can't pick up a golf club and be the best in the world.
I was saying that when I was walking into Immortals because it had on the big screen and watch people stop just in the mall going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy because they're watching people play a game they all just thought was a game played by babies.
Exactly.
Played at a top level, really and this crazy stuff happening, people moving way faster. Like, I have played Smash 4 and enjoy my time with it, but I'll never play it competitively, but I don't move that fast. I'm not doing the things they're doing. And that game, I think, is pretty slow comparatively, but it's still like, holy shit, these guys actually have like put the time in and like are getting way better at this thing than most people.
And think about it like this: when football first came out, or any sport, if you think about it, and it was like a main stage on a screen, and people didn't know what it was. They're like, these guys are throwing a pigskin around and tackling each other. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and
I still don't get
it. All it's about is just kill the carrier. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I mean, you think about it, like these guys, they're getting paid millions of dollars to put like just be kind of like the showcase. Like they're workhorses.
Oh yeah.
Basically.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
And like people don't understand like the work, the time, the effort, because you just see them every Sunday. You're just like, oh, cool, they're touchdown.
Yeah, and they make it look so easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about video games is like the time and effort that they put into it. Like you think about now they're getting scholarships for video games. So the same thing with sports. Like, I have debates with people about like, I don't think athletes should get money to go to school.
Okay.
And I think, and so there's two people. Mm-hmm. There's ones that think that athletes should get paid because they're providing a service for that school.
Making a lot of money for that school too.
And yeah, exactly. And the coaches are making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then there's like the athletes get way too much, like because they get free tuition.
Yeah.
So tuition's a joke anyway.
Yeah.
They're getting the food card.
Yeah.
Which
they don't take classes that are real.
Yeah, exactly. And but what's funny is like
not to like shit on like college athletes, but like I took a lot of those classes too, and I had my friend who was a professor of that, and he's just like, I understand that this is the class that's the easy A, but like they don't have like you are encouraged to take the easy A class. You know, like it's not like you're like.
Well, if you see like
ground.
the majors when for some reason ESPN and like they think it's like, I don't know, interesting to put their majors.
No,
like,
yeah.
This guy, he's a football player, and he's 6'6", 350 pounds, but let's put his major there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone cares that he's a business major.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to own a business after. I mean, he's going to deal with his money, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
He's going to hire someone to do that. But, like, who cares? It's interesting when they say he's studying biophysics.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
then you're like, oh, my God, this guy's a smart guy.
Yeah,
Why is he playing football?
Right, yeah. That's,
so
the one argument I've heard for that specifically is to have them major in football, where it's like they learn the business end, they learn how to coach, they learn all that stuff. So even if they can't make it as a pro player, they can still stay like all that shit. They just like all that, those years they spent like getting good at this, they can like apply it in a good way, which it seems makes sense. But I don't fully understand.
And then there's another thing: they leave school early.
Oh yeah.
The majority of them just leave. But I know some athletes that they take like all their classes like in the summer, or like literally like they cram both semesters in all this time so that they can have the next semester of like one class.
Right, and they're just doing football.
Right, and they're just doing football. So like, I mean, I can see where that gets a little intense because if you're managing all that, but you also have somebody that's like, hey, you need to keep your grades up so you can be in this school. But then you have all this corruption and stuff too. So you never really know.
Everything falls apart.
Yeah, everything falls apart. So like, it's just interesting. Like when I saw Heroes of the Dorm, people were like, wait, they're getting a free tuition to play a video game. But you think these guys are getting free tuition to dunk a basketball.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So like,
and it's still the same amount of dedication.
Exactly.
You still have to, like, I had a bunch of friends when we all for some random reason got into Heroes of the Storm, like different people randomly, like no one was like, hey, let's play Heroes of the Storm. We just all randomly did at the same time. That game's really hard. We entered a league and we just got fucking dunked on.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, there's a skill here. We probably don't see where that line is, but there's a skill level here, and we're getting fucked on real hard right now.
Well, see, that's the thing about esports is like they think, oh, I just pick up the controller, I'm esports. No.
And
like, I'm not going to get in depth with certain, things over here, but people have said, oh, we have Code Red, Mountain Dew, or esports now. Like that, that's what makes esports look bad.
It looks like a joke. Yeah, it looks silly.
So it's just like we're actually a business that like markets it, advertises it, facilitates a venue. We get sponsors. Like it's not just like, hey, here's some systems, here's some people that are going to pay money to play on them. It's like reaching out to the community, being part of the community, doing events at high schools. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not.
Well, you guys are definitely doing a good job because I've had people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, you going to that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "All right, cool, I'm gonna go too."
Yeah,
and it's like, "Oh, okay." So people know about it. Yeah. People are figuring it out. People are like, "It's gonna take a little while because it is new." So when people are like, "Oh, we're gonna play video games at like a competitive level," people are like, "I don't understand."
Yeah,
but eventually it's gonna start falling into place. I mean, with Fortnite being what it is, really good for the whole thing because not everyone's understanding it. With Drake, there was Ninja did an interview with H3H on their podcast, and Ninja was saying, like, Drake playing with him made video games cool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can tweet about this. I can talk about this with my friends. I can say, hey, I'm just going to stay and play Fortnite. Like, it just became cool. You say what you want about Fortnite, however you feel about Fortnite. Like, I don't even play it that often. I think it's kind of a neat game, but, like, it's starting to break that barrier down with, like, oh, this guy, like, Drake's fucking so big.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just as a meme for most of the part, he's huge. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows his name.
Yeah.
And like now it's cool. Now you can do that next step, that next thing.
Yeah. My only gripe is that it was Fortnite that did it.
Yeah.
You know, because like
It's always gonna be that way.
I don't mind Fortnite. I just think like when we were doing like when Fortnite first came out, people were like trolling us like, "Oh, you guys gonna have a Fortnite event?" And we're like, "No, absolutely not." Like that game, no way. And then we have a Fortnite
Right,
Monday
exactly,
night.
yeah.
So it's like I wish it was like Overwatch had so much potential.
Yeah.
And then they created their own league, and now people are just like, "Oh, yeah, hey, let's do a viewing party." Like instead of actually playing the game, they just want to watch people
really?
play the game. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, I get it all the time. Like, hey,
I mean,
I'm like,
fuck, if you're getting all the time, might as well just do it.
yeah, that was the thing. I was like, I said it to, so my stepdad, he's a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he hates video games, and I'm trying to explain to him like what we do, and I want to do it in the most unsarcastic way.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, think about it like this: if you could go to a basketball game, and you pay your venue fee because that's what you're paying a venue fee to watch. But you could actually, at halftime, play on the court.
Oh, right, yeah.
How cool would that be?
Right, yeah.
Now, think about it like video games. You can actually pay the venue fee and play.
Yeah.
So, like, he's like, oh, I never saw it like that. He's like, I still hate video games. I'm like, well, I'm not trying to sell it to you.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just telling you, this is how you might comprehend it.
Yeah.
So, if I could go to a football game and then during their breaks or whatever, play football.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like interactive with them and whatever the case may be. And that's what like people don't understand about esports. It's like, yeah, it's like there's the high end competitive which you can watch and viewing parties, which is cool, I guess. And then you can actually play the game.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to play with them. And why would you? You
Right,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Like, I mean, I like to play the best just to get better.
Right,
But
yeah.
like, I mean, I also don't like to get dumpstered on all the
Right,
time.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
But that's
that balance, yeah.
Yeah, that's what esports is. It's like, okay, I like to play video games, but I also like to watch them too. So guess what? You can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And like watching them too, you learn like Overwatch and League of Legends really shine with this. Where you watch someone do something and you go, oh, okay, I understand how that worked now. I like this character. This guy just uses this character in a really cool way. It's mechanically not that difficult to pull off again.
Yeah.
So like being able to, that's what makes like I think what made League of Legends so important was the game mechanically not that difficult. It was more how the teams work together and where you're standing and shit like that. But like to watch a person just do like a really cool like stutter step, like, you know, 80 carry kill or something like that. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try that now, and you can immediately log in and try that in your next game.
Exactly.
And so, like, that was super important for that. And, like, Overwatch, same kind of thing. Certain characters way more difficult than others.
Right.
And, like, some things, like, even like a Winston, where, like, you see someone like a Miru or whatever do something really cool with Winston, you're like, oh, that was really cool. And you try it and you die immediately, like, what the fuck? Because it's such a more cerebral character where he's not doing something physically cool. He's just standing somewhere and then holding down mouse button 1 and someone dies. You're like, that was awesome. But, like, it's so much more of a thing where you're, like, trying to pay attention and you're trying to catch what they're doing and you're trying to watch the, you know. So that, but, like, it's still really fucking cool. And it's really, you know, if you're like in that person's head and you're like, oh, I can see how I did that and why he's standing where he's standing and what he's doing here and all that shit. So
yeah, and see that's the thing about like the team games is like even if you do go ahead and do that right and you die, I mean they have a strategy. You know what I mean?
Oh right,
so, like,
yeah.
So that's the next level of it too. Is like,
oh yeah, totally.
So you have this level of like, oh, I can watch it and I can try it, and then you have to say, okay, how am I going to level up from that?
Yeah.
Well, they have communication. They have the right comp. They know who's going to go in and help him out. And he knows what he's doing when he does that. And that's how I kind of play. Like, I know. Like,
definitely.
When you said it the other night, you're like, you had like 4 HP. And I'm like, because I know like, okay, I need to get my ass out of here. And I know like, I watched the pros. And I mean, they weren't really pros when I started watching them.
Yeah.
So like, I emulated them, and like we went back and forth and talked about different things. Not those guys, but some of the top players.
Yeah,
and that's how you learn.
Oh yeah. Do you ask those questions, shit? Yeah,
and you just got to put the hours in too. You can't just like. You can pick it up and do it. Like physically, you can do it.
Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah,
but you have to learn situations, and that's like what makes esports and like gaming and competitive gaming like it has some depth to
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah,
you
it's
know?
great,
And
yeah.
people don't understand that. Oh, you're playing a video game. Oh, you're just killing this guy. It's like, it's more than just
Yeah.
that. And to get in depth on it is kind of nerdy, but like at the same time, like
Getting in depth on like super football, it's
Exactly,
super nerdy.
that's exactly.
If you want to start talking about plays and different things, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You sound like a crazy nerd to me. You sound like you could be talking about Star Trek. It'd be the same amount. I would understand the same amount of conversation.
Exactly. It's all about who you surround yourself with and how you present the
Oh,
information.
that's a big thing too. Presentation's big.
Yeah. So like when I sit down with CEOs, right? They're like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I'm like, "We do video games."
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, you get the stigma. Okay, fat, unhygienic people,
Yeah.
like that can't communicate, can't look you in the eye, and okay, they get that stigma because their 11-year-old nephew or grandson, that's what he does,
Right.
and they don't understand that there's a business aspect of it, and there's depth to it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I get that like, oh, video games, and then by the end of the presentation, I mean, Lucky Strikes. That's a awesome venue.
Yeah.
I mean, we get a good deal on it.
And they're like a big name too.
Exactly.
Like I went to get their logo for that trailer. There's a lot of Lucky Strikes.
So like, it's not just like a walk in the park.
Oh yeah.
And we make it seem like that because we're not like saying, hey, guess how lucky you guys are.
Oh
because
right.
of what
No.
we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
We do it because people like, especially the Smash community, they deserve it with the
Yeah.
work that they put in.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that like, you know, we try to reach out to like Melee and PM
Mm-hmm.
and like, hey, we can do the same exact thing for you guys, but I think it's like a generational gap. Not your age, but like the game.
Right. Yeah.
Like the game is played differently. Like
yeah.
nobody really cares if it's played on a stage with like all this space.
Yeah.
They don't really care.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, because Melee grew up in a basement. It's gonna
Exactly.
die in a basement. Like, that's just where it is. It's
Exactly.
always. They would be happy. They don't care.
Yeah, and
That's
I have no qualms with that.
No, I don't either. That's exactly what they want to do.
But when
good for
when you know, I try to reach out to them and like, hey, let's come up with some ideas to not only like showcase you guys, but to get new players in. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like these games that are not made anymore,
No,
they need
yeah.
new players.
And that's the hardest part about it too, because it's trying to
Exactly.
get someone to play Melee. Where you're like, oh, I'd like to play this. Well, a disc is $70. You're like, oh boy, I think I'm out. Like, yeah,
and find a GameCube. and
Right,
find
exactly, yeah.
So like
get a CRT.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like I commend Joe with everything he's done for that community,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like it's gonna age out and people are gonna leave. And like, I mean, Adam, poof, gone.
All right, yeah.
And guess what? Somebody else has to pick up that slack, and
Yeah.
you can't hope to God that it's just gonna run itself. Because
Right,
that's
yeah.
not how it can run itself, because that's what it can do. But it's not
and
gonna.
it always
it's never
has
gonna
exactly.
grow.
It always has run itself, and that's the charm about Melee is that there will always be Melee.
Right.
Melee will always be played, but to what level?
Right.
How big? Per eyes are you gonna put on it? And like,
It really does. Excuse me to cut you off, but
Okay.
like it really does. What do you want out of it?
Yeah.
Some people just want what's there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. But my goal is to like bring it to the next level so we can have these events and showcase it.
Yeah.
But some people are not interested in it. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
no, that's
fine.
fine.
But like,
Yeah.
I don't want the shimmy around where it's like, oh, you know, you guys don't help our community or this and that. Not that I've gotten that, but I
Yeah.
just don't want that stigma of like, oh, we're only focusing on this community because that's what we want to
Yeah.
do. We want to do all esports, but at the same time, it has to go both ways.
Yeah.
They have to help us. We have to help them. You know.
yeah,
So,
right.
so I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, like I tell the guys all the time, when we get PCs, do you think that like we're gonna be like focusing 100% on Smash, like what we
Oh
do
right,
now?
yeah.
And that's why we have the community run the events, and the community learn how to TO and
Yeah.
bracket.
You guys
and-
are facilitators. You guys
Exactly.
are giving them space, and then that's the biggest thing. You gave them a space.
Exactly.
And you gave them a dope ass space. So like, just to have that where like they can show up and like you cut that part out of it where it's like, oh yeah, we could play in a basement, but hey, we got this fucking cool place
Right,
with like lights and shit
exactly.
going on. Like let's do it in a stage.
Yeah.
Got it. You know, people wanting to MC the event and stuff like that. That was cool. Like that was just that, but that was the community growing it, you know,
Right.
doing itself. But like, yeah, that'll. So how close you guys are to actually getting like the PCs and all that shit?
Well, everything is so at all the money that we make with our events
Mm-hmm.
and every event that we do, we put into a savings account.
Okay.
And we either get more equipment
Mm-hmm.
or we just keep it there. We don't make money off this.
Right.
Like,
Like you said, it's
Yeah.
always just a side project.
yeah, it's
So-
a side project. Like we don't need this to make money. Like I don't need to I don't need a good event to happen to put food on my table.
Right.
So that's one of the good things about it is that it facilitates itself, and the more support we get from people coming out, the closer we are to these goals.
Yeah.
So like we have a project where we're gonna make a goal list, and like how much we don't want to put how much money we've made,
Right. Yeah,
but we also want to know like, hey, this is how close we are, and I mean we have a business account, so like we could go out and buy whatever we want whenever we want it, but we also want to make sure that it's not like something that it's just like we just sunk a ton of money into this. Now we're drowning. Now we need to push people to do it.
Right, yeah.
Where it just kind of facilitates itself, and it's like, hey, now they got PCs. Let's go out and do PC play.
It's like it makes you guys way more genuine. Where like I know as me coming into you guys being like, oh, this is really cool. I'll just like and like I went to that Smash 4 event just to put another head on in the crowd.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just help them just be a person there. Like I'm never gonna play. I don't have anything. I have nothing. No reason to be here. I'm just gonna hang out.
And that's what we appreciate. And that's like what I think the community is missing.
Yeah.
Is people like, hey, I'm just here to support it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm gonna be the next Dark Wizzy or I'm not trying to level up in this game. I'm just here to support.
Yeah.
And like anyone that like pays venue is supporting us because it's like this money is going towards back to the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're getting better equipment. We'll get more equipment.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of lost in translation because it's not really spoken about with anybody. Because it's like, how awkward would it be to be like, oh, how much money do you guys make? Or like, where does this money go? And how, you know what I mean? Like, we do have a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
But like the GoFundMe is just like more for an informational piece.
Okay.
Like a professional informational piece where Facebook, who really reads the about?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Would you guys think about doing a Patreon? Because that's becoming like the big one.
Yeah, the thing about Patreon is like, a lot of people tell us this. Oh, I come to your events, so that's how I'm supporting you. Okay, which is perfectly fine.
That's acceptable. Yeah,
and I'd rather that than them hit a donate button or whatever because I want them to see what we're actually about. Mm-hmm. And so when someone's like, "Hey, like we have a GoFundMe," but nobody like,
I didn't know you guys had that.
Well, we don't really push it because. Yeah. We don't say, hey, you're at our event. Here's a GoFundMe for more money. You know what I mean? Like, we're not money grubbers. Like, we're a business and we're doing fine. But again, it's our side thing. It's not like oh man, I need this money to put, I have two kids. So it's like, it's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, because the drive isn't there, like, I think if it's something that you need to do, it will get done better. Right. But at the same time, it's nothing we need to do, so it kind of just baby steps facilitates itself with, hey, we have 50 people show up tonight. That's awesome. That just gets us closer to our goal. Right. Where like we could just not do events and put the GoFundMe and say, hey, do you want this here?
Oh, right, yeah. And it's a balance of doing the content, but like the thing with the Patreon and like as I've been becoming more of a fan of the service, like I've been like giving money to people where it's like I like what you do so much. I just want to make sure it doesn't stop. Right. So it's like, I'm going to keep watching your videos for free, regardless. That was just going to happen. Right. It's primarily YouTubers that I follow with the Patreon. But like, hey, I really like the videos you're making. I really like this stuff. I just want to make sure it doesn't stop. Make sure I get more of them almost. So I'm going to give you money. Yeah. And so that's kind of where like that falls for me. And like it becomes, and the nice thing too, like I just canceled one and subscribed to another person for actually more money than I'd canceled for. But like, because what she was offering was like an additional thing where I was like, oh, I was only going to give you $1, but this $5 tier, fuck it, sure. Yeah. I'm canceling one for $3, so I guess I'll just pay the extra $2. Who cares? Like, so like it became like a weird thing, but like I think that like the way the Patreon works with like the hey, we give you this reward or we'll do this thing for you guys. And, like there's some I follow where it's like, oh, hey, $1, just thanks for trying, like thanks for showing up. But like some people where it's like, hey, $1 gets you this early thing, and so it's like it's a figuring out the tiers and all that shit. But I really like that because also the account, the website UI, fantastic. Yeah, right. It's very integrated. Yeah. It works itself. Yeah. So it's really nice for that thing too. It's just like, oh, I want to change this and do that. All right, cool, and you can just adjust it and stuff like that. But like something like that where it's like I would show up to your events because I like you guys to do stuff, but also have $5. Yeah. Like see, that's the thing. Like the thing about Patreon, and I always had this stigma, is because with the cosplayers, that was what they were pushing first, and I didn't realize that businesses were doing it. Yeah. So I didn't.
until I saw a business do it, I was like, wait, we can do that?
Yeah.
And like, I thought like it was just that community. You know how like there's these sub communities?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that's how cosplayers make their equipment and do this. And it kind of makes sense for them because if you give them $5 or if 1,000 people will give them $5, then they can make this costume and pay their rent.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So like the time that they put into it. So I guess for us, it would be like figuring out the tiers.
Yeah.
Because like right now we only do 4 events a month.
Right.
So like, what do you really get out of it for donating $5?
Right.
Say? You know, so like, we don't want to give everything away, but at the same time, we don't want to feel like you're not getting anything.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's just sitting down and figuring out, like, what can you offer, you know, like, maybe your $1 tier is, hey, thanks for contributing.
Yeah.
You know, we'll put your name in a credits thing somewhere for whatever.
Right,
or, like,
right.
you know, you do a $5 thing, hey, we'll fucking play a game with you or whatever. You figure, and that's just sitting down and mapping it out, but, like...
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be awesome to sit down and, like, create an idea, like, interactive like that, you know?
Because that's a big thing, too, is if you can interact with a person, even if it's just, like... thanks for doing this, and their name shows up in something, or you know, at an event you guys have a banner with everyone's name that is a Patreon or something like that, or you do something where it's just like you just create that interactivity. Because like I went to a podcast panel 2 years ago, and one of the questions they had pre-written questions. They're like, we get these a lot, so we'll do these, and one of them was like, how do we create an environment? It's like you have to ask them to do it. you can't just expect people to just write you questions. You just be like, hey, give me a question.
Right.
Ask me a question. Give me a thing. You know, you have to keep doing that. Keep pushing for that, which I'm terrible at. But
that's funny because like with GoFundMe's, you want to make a video,
right,
to show like what your goals are and what you're doing, right? And I said, okay, well, my idea for a video is like an interview because like to talk about what, you know, making a gaming lounge and facilitating, it's like so redundant for me.
Right, yeah.
Where if somebody had a question for me, I answered it, and then it looked like, okay, you know, this is their goal. Like that, in my mind, that's how it goes. And I just, you know, I think 90% of it is asking the question.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you have the answer, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think people get inside their own heads with what they have to say, how they have to say it. And it's just like, it is what it is. And you don't really think about it until like questions asked. And then you're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Right, yeah.
And that's one thing it was funny. I was talking to Malcolm because I listen to your podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well,
I do. And, you know, I like how it just goes wherever.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, the name of your podcast, that's what it is.
Right, yeah. That was literally my purpose in naming it.
I was talking to Malcolm about it, and he looked at me and he goes, there's no direction. I go, that's the point.
Right, exactly. That's the point. Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I'm going to go on and we're just going to talk about whatever. And that's what I want to do. Because I've done podcasts where it's like, what are your goals? And,
they're looking for that,
what do you want to do? And I'm just like, I sound like a robot and I'm like nasally. So it's like, I hate listening to myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate and love it because I'm
you
just
get used to it.
Well, it's funny because Tony sounds exactly like me. So when I hear him talking, it's me. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, it's so weird.
I'm not gonna lie. When I jumped into your Discord, I couldn't tell who was who at first. It took me a second. I was like, oh, okay.
And it is the strangest thing having a twin because not only does he sound like me, but like we have the same like mannerisms. To a point. He's a lot different now, but when we were growing up, it was just like, did I just say that?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, oh.
Me and my brother are a year and a half apart, so we got a lot growing up. Are you guys twins?
Yeah.
So, and I'm somewhat familiar with that. Where like, and sometimes I will do like when we first started doing the show together, like he would come on, I couldn't tell us apart sometimes. I was like, I did this episode, I still know who said what. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I should have Tony here with me because then you get the dynamic. But then people would be like, who the fuck's talking? So
yeah.
You know,
right,
whatever.
Yeah.
So, but like, it's funny because I always have this like stigma that people are looking at us, but because we're twins.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like,
I actually had no idea you guys were twins.
Really?
I had no idea.
Oh my God, we get it all the time. Like, is that your brother? And we, you know, the typical twin thing. No.
Oh, yeah.
He's my cousin, or I don't even know this guy. But it's like being a twin. People always are like, those guys look really alike.
Yeah.
And so that's why Tony grows his mustache out, and it's different now. But like. Growing up, like we looked exactly the same.
Yeah,
That's why I started working out because like I was like sick of being.
Oh, exactly the same. Yeah.
So it's just funny how people are just like, "Are you guys twins?" And it's just like 30 years of
Oh
it.
yeah, I can imagine. That's pretty tough. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true because me and my brother, like, he wears glasses. I have long hair. Like, we've gone subconsciously in very much directions to not look the same because all three of us look exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
See, that for me, it's something I don't really think about, but when someone brings it up, I'm just like, really?
Oh yeah. I literally had no idea.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were brothers, but I didn't know you guys were twins.
When we were younger, we looked a lot different. The weight and drinking, putting on the weight, it kind of changes a little bit. But like, people would be like, "Hey, what's up, Tony?" And I'd be like, "Hey, just whatever."
Just accept it. Yeah.
Yeah, just it is what it is.
There's a lot of teachers growing up that still call me Mike or something. Vice versa with my brother, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'll play along. Yeah,
whatever.
I'll get messages from one of our teachers who he's kind of eccentric, so whatever. But he'll be like, "Oh, hey, how's your English degree going?" I'm like, I didn't do that, but you know what? Sure, I'll just play along. So I've had conversations about being an English major for like 20 minutes.
That's funny. Oh my god, yeah, and that's funny because our senior year, which was kind of dumb in high school, I started working out then, so I was like 175 pounds. He was like 110, so we were very different. But it was April Fool's Day. We switched classes.
That's hilarious.
Okay. And I wore like I always used to wear subconsciously red, orange, like,
The warm
those
colors?
Yeah, and he would wear like blue, green.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like
It's like Power Rangers.
yeah, you could sit down and talk to somebody on a chair about that, But, so we were just like, it was subconsciously we did it, but at the same time, like he liked blue, I liked red, so
Right, yeah.
Power Rangers back in the day. But yeah, so I wore his clothes, he wore mine, he went to my classes. I used to wear like a Texas hat, like a Longhorns hat, so he wore that.
That's hilarious.
And I wore his like Arizona hat, and like every class we went to, the people that would sit next to him, like, hey, where does my brother sit? So I can sit in his seat because we had assigned seats. And he would, I'd sit there, and people would be laughing the whole class.
That's
and, like,
awesome.
The teacher didn't get it because, like, I'm not making a point that I'm me, I'm not him, So I'd sit there, and no one really had a problem with the teachers. Like halfway through the class, be like, "Oh, you're your brother," And, like they'd be. There was only like 2 teachers that really got offended. The art teacher, go figure.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And I think it was like sociology or some stupid class where the teacher thought he was more important than what he really was. And so
a class from a teacher that doesn't actually matter. Weird.
Right. Like, are we really in the classroom?
Yeah.
So they made it a point that we skipped the whole day.
Oh.
So we got suspended.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got external suspension for 5 days.
What? 5 days?
5 days because we technically skipped the whole day.
That's ridiculous.
I was like, my dad, when my dad wanted to make a point, he used to show up in his uniform from work. So he'd drive his cruiser. So he'd come in and like he's all in his.
Put the fear of God.
Yeah. My dad's a big guy too. So he's like, "Are you like?" My dad rarely laughs, and he was laughing.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "This is a joke, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
This is a big April Fool's joke on me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, we're getting suspended." So he comes to the school, and they're like, "Yeah, it's technically skipping school and this and that." And I'm like, "We're here though."
Right. Yeah. You're there. Yeah.
It was really.
You're still in class.
The school looked really bad after that, and it was just like.
Where did you guys go to high school?
Shaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were like trying to be strict, but like not really, and like I don't know, but the principal looked like an idiot. and then guess what? We skipped after that.
Yeah.
Senior skip day was like the whole last month of
All right.
school.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, exactly. At that point, it's like fucking the free week off.
Whatever,
Like, who gives a shit?
So it's we had fun with it, and like it's funny. It was you never really thought about it until someone brings it up. You're a twin. So, but subconsciously you're like, oh my god, is everyone not looking at us? But like you think like, why is that person giving me that eye? And
right.
then
Yeah.
Tony stand next to me like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So, but doing the business with him, we do complete opposites of like job descriptions.
Okay.
So
what is everyone's job description?
So basically, I do like mostly everything. I like JP and Tony they're probably the easiest ones to get out of the way. They like reach out to people and know a lot of people because they're in sales. JP's a bartender, so he sees a lot of people. Or bar manager, excuse me. And Tony works at AT&T. So he sees a lot of people. So he kind of gets our name out there and like plants the seed.
Right,
like, hey, we do video games, we're here. And they're more like when people are there, they interact with them, like PR, you know, kind of like talk to them, make sure everything's going fine. They're like little chit chats.
Yeah, JP was killing it with the cosplayer girls at PAX, so yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's their main role, and that'd be more like when the gaming lounge opens, they'd be interacting with the people, making sure they're okay. JP does like shoutcasting and
is your guys' goal to go full time? That would be like everyone's full time gig.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but like, yeah,
okay,
yeah. I mean,
the short of it,
the short of it, it would be really nice just to do that full time.
Yeah.
Because like video games, you know?
Right, exactly.
The long and the short of it, video games. But I mean, like if you really think about it, any job that you want to do, like, you know, JP's a bar manager, which I've never done, so I don't know how it is, but like it fits his personality, you know, and doing like social media and like shoutcasting stuff, that would be something he could do. Yeah. I don't know if he wants to do it full time. Right. But like,
you never know.
You never know. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like he's tied into a career where he needs to put 20 years in and get a retirement. Right. Yeah, you know, so like he's open ended to do whatever he wants. But I mean, JP has a lot of skill into like with people and like, he could do a lot of different things. I mean, he just has a really good opportunity with, I mean, Samurai makes a lot of money and like bartending is like something he likes to do. Right, I mean, he went to school for it. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mean, you have to get your certification, but he actually went to like the Flair school and all that stuff too. So, that's awesome. So, I mean, it really fits his personality, you know, and he likes the late nights and stuff like that where I have a family, so I have to have 9 to 5, but I try to get in game and go out with the boys. Yeah. But I don't have like that restriction, like, oh, I'm married, guys. I play it off sometimes when I don't want to do anything. Like, oh, we're going out tonight, and I'm like, I can go out. I have no qualms with it. Oh, Rissa wants me to stay in.
One time I went out with you guys, and you were just pounding Long Island. I was like, this guy's a married man with kids. Fucking going hard in the paint.
Yeah, I got to put on the the facade that I'm like, oh, I'm married. The wife will kill me. Listen, if I would never be with a girl that would be like, hey, you can't do this.
Right, yeah.
Because why not?
Right,
like,
exactly, yeah.
Like, I live my life like, I go with the flow. Yeah. So
same. You can't tell by his job.
Hey, that's how you have to live a life because you never know. So anyway, like, but it's funny because I do the complete opposite for our business. Yeah. I do the schedule, like, I make the schedule for the meetings and like, I never have anybody else in our meetings except my dad. Okay. Because my dad will like nudge me if I'm going way down the rabbit hole, and he does our finances. So our dad really does our finances. Okay, he's really good with like doing the Excel. You wouldn't think, but like he went to like an entrepreneur business thing, and it was like 14 weeks long, and they taught you all this stuff. And he wanted me to do it with him, but I already know that stuff. Right. Yeah. So it was really good for him to like learn that kind of stuff, know the numbers, and he's really good with like, we can buy 10 Xbox Ones right now. Let's do it. He'd be like, no.
Right.
It's sensibility.
Yeah. That's good to have too. To have someone like pull the reins in on you. Right. Where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this crazy thing. You're like, yeah, wait a minute. Yeah. Like, yeah, you can, but should you? No.
Exactly. You're like, what's the pro? Well, he never says what's the pros. He's like, what's the cons? Right. Yeah. He's the con man over there. He just like always wants to. He sees the negative and everything, which is awesome. That's good. Then that's helpful because like if you're like starry-eyed, like I'm doing everything, it's good to have someone be like, "Fucking hang on, man." Get back to reality. You know, like yes, we cannot buy 20 computers right now. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we can, but we don't
like
want
you
to.
Really should not. Yeah.
Really. Yeah. So it really works out that way. I mean, he knows nothing about video games,
which is probably good.
Yes. He wants to learn, but I tell him no because like there's no like he plays Mario Kart. And his hands are too big for the Joy-Cons. So like,
my hands are too big for the Joy-Cons. Yeah. Like I think they're tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so he like it's a good balance, and when we go to meetings, like he wants to. He's never like he's my dad, so he has to be the presence in the room. But like when we're sitting down and talking, I'm the presence. So it's kind of weird for him, but. he sees that I actually get the stuff done.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because like obviously we have a plan. I don't tell, hey, this is what we're doing. Like we sit down before the meeting with everybody and say, this is what we're going to talk about. Like, what do you guys like? It's a democracy. I mean, I have the final say.
Right.
But
are you like CEO?
Yeah, I'm the CEO.
Okay.
So like if I want to make a decision on the fly, I can make that decision.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that because I don't want to hear it.
Right. Yeah.
So I just, but if it has to be like this needs to be done, I get it done. And so I do the dress up and meet up with people and talk about. I do our presentations. And so you know, JP he helps like facilitate that. Like, hey, this is what we do because he just jibber jabbers. Him and Tony just endless amounts of talking, but.
It's good that you're pushing that in the right direction. Yeah. Keep talking. Just talk about what we're doing. Yeah.
And so I just, I really just sit down and like make sure, you know, the business aspect of it is making sense.
Yeah.
Like I did the business plan and then it was revised with like some people from Albany Commerce Chambers.
Okay.
So like, you know, the business plan makes sense. It's not like hey, here's a business plan. It's an actual legit like, this is where the money's coming from. This is where it's going. This is how much startup. This is the facility we're looking for. I mean, like,
nice.
35 pages.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
it's not just like thrown together in a basement. Hey.
Yeah. No, and that happens. I feel like that's a lot with gamers, which is like, we're gonna do this thing. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean,
figure this shit out first.
Business plan took about a year and a half to do and get complete 100%. And
right. Yeah.
How many people really want to spend a year and a half to do a business plan?
No one.
You know. And
it's very rare that people sit down and actually push that through. Yeah.
And then you have to revise it and edit it and like you just did all this work and you're like, oh, you gotta take that out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it was a lot of work and the business plan makes sense. It's not like,
and that's important. As long as it makes sense where you can put it out, give it to someone and be like, oh yeah, sure, I understand what's happening. Yeah.
So and this business plan has like what we've been doing on Monday nights in numbers. So it shows like what we've done and then potential because it's just one night a week or four times a month.
Right, exactly.
So it's just it shows what we could do if this was a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then obviously Immortal Tech showed what we could do if we had our own space and we didn't have to pay all this X amount of dollars for the venue, food, whatever, you know. So this is all just research and development for us.
Well, that's good. That's good that you're mapping that out and you're figuring that stuff out because I wouldn't know even where to begin, but like I'm glad that it exists.
Yeah,
you know, that's a cool place to just hang out.
The hardest thing about an idea is when you create the idea is like where does it start, and then like the thing about an idea is it can go backwards and forward and up and down, and like so, as much as the process of like, hey, this is our idea, this is what we're gonna do, and that's what we're sticking to it. It never works that way, and people say that all the time. Like you have one idea, and then it goes to another one, and then it goes back,
right?
And then it evolves and devolves, and so like, that's what I like about the business. Is like, it's not just one thing. It kind of goes into everything.
So how long total have you guys been working on this?
So the business plan we started in 2015.
Okay.
Then 2016, well, right before 2016, I reached out to all the businesses in the area that did like gaming and comic books and whatever entertainment that we like might infringe on.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know, my name's Mike, whatever, send a nice email. This is what we're going to do. These are our goals. Like, you know, we'd like to bring the communities together. Everyone said, F you.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I mean, I guess that's how business works.
Right. Yeah. You're gonna have to find. Yeah, I imagine once someone shows up with like a confrontation, or they're gonna we're trying to do this kind of the same thing. You're like, all right, hang on, man. Like, slow your roll. But
well, that was the thing. Like, when something new comes in, you're just like, people feel threatened.
Yeah.
Not like face value, but like subconsciously. You're like, are they gonna ruin my business? Are they gonna do this? The goal isn't to ruin people's business,
right? Yeah,
it's to enhance them.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it was direct. I'll have to show you the email. It's like corny, like, hey, you know, whatever. But like, it's like gets to the point, and it's like, this is how we can help each other.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, we have a business. We don't need any more help.
Right.
But our business is to enhance other businesses, not just us to make all the money, sack everybody else, we win. You know?
Yeah.
That's not how business works.
And with your like when you guys first showed up on the scene to be dramatic, like I was talking to Malcolm, I'm like, I don't know what they do. He's like, I don't either. And then but then I think I was talking to Tony. He's like, well, the whole thing is about like your claim to fame. It's like, oh, obviously, like, duh.
Yeah, well,
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
So when I was talking to, eSports Arena is out in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Before they had eSports Arena and all these millions of dollars, they did the same thing we did.
Oh, no shit.
They had equipment, went to venues, set up, and whatever.
Yeah.
So we were like all in a forum-based Skype chat talk, and we would bounce ideas off each other and whatever. And they were old like Counter-Strike and Halo guys, so they knew what they were getting into.
Right. Yeah.
Where we were like more like FIFA, Madden. And they had an establishment for gaming because Asia is right there. You know what I mean? That, that community is like right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And here it's kind of like we didn't really have that. We don't really have that. Like, I mean, we have Pastime Legends and we had the Next Level Gaming.
Yeah.
And Next Level actually wasn't really around when we were thinking about the idea.
Okay.
And
because they recently like completely stopped.
Yeah. And so we were like, okay, well, the hardest part is to facilitate this, and how are we gonna say, okay, we want an esports gaming lounge, like the West Coast.
Yeah.
So we would talk to those guys, and then they got an investment opportunity from like an Asian company.
Okay.
Like $5 million. Oh,
jeez.
Or like something like that. Just boom. And so they made it, and they got an old arcade place and made it into a stage esports arena.
Yeah.
So like our business plan really modeled like we all basically had the same model of business model.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy, we'd sit there and talk about different things, how you can grow the community, and he said I will never forget this. Content, corniness, and community. Those are the three things that you need to like do.
Oh, definitely.
And he was like, think about it like Nike, just do it. Like, how corny is that? Like,
super corny.
Yeah.
But everyone remembers it.
Yeah. And, and consistency. Like, making sure that you just, like, if you're going to stream on Monday nights, you stream on Monday nights.
Yeah.
So those were the biggest, like, things that we would say, okay, these are what you need to just facilitate and enhance and just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, so corniness was like one of the things that we were like struggled on, because we were like, you don't want to be too corny, but you also want to stick out, you know? Yeah. So there was different ideas of the name floating around, and there's some bad names out there, but like, honestly, claim to fame is a bad name. Yeah. I don't think it's bad, but it's just like, it's corny.
It's corny, but it also has an easy acronym. That can,
exactly.
Like that,
so I was thinking one night, like sleepless night, I was thinking of names. Like, what can we do for like esports gaming? And I'm like, well, we want the player to feel like that they're important. Like, whatever they do, even if it's not that great, it's still what they do.
Right.
It's what they're about.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, different names. And then you got to think, at the same time, like, how is it going to look as a logo and this and that?
Right,
so you're like, I mean, when I say I didn't sleep, I didn't sleep. I was like, well, how would this look? And I was like, just going crazy. Good thing I had a girl there, a wife, because she'd be like, all right, shut up, go to sleep. I don't want to hear it anymore. So that was good balance. But so then, like, I always thought, like, well, if I was a gamer and, like, I played Madden, well, what makes me a Madden player? Like, what's so special about me?
Right.
I'm just another Madden player. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's what every gamer thinks. It's like, at some point in your career in gaming, you're like, well, why am I so special? Like, why am I important to the gaming community or this game? Or why is this game important to me? So I was like bouncing those ideas. And then I was like, okay, well, every gamer wants to feel like they've accomplished something. Like, the trophies on PS4, or like I beat this game in a speed run, or I'm the best Mario in Upstate New York, or whatever. So like, okay, so I was like, how can you bounce that idea off? Like, okay, this is an individual thing, but it's a group thing at the same time. So I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at different acronyms and everything. And I'm like, okay, claim to fame. So like, your claim to fame is that you shared a bus with freaking Bon Jovi. You know, he sat next to you and like you talked to him and like you made it. You have a picture with him or a tweet with him or something like that. It's like that's your 15 minutes of fame. That's what people know you from. That's your claim to fame. So I was like, okay, well, how can you make that into the gaming thing? So like, you know, you get a ranking in a game, and that's why we do competitive gaming because like, yes, the speed runs too. You know, like. I'm the 3rd fastest Mario player in the world. That's your claim to fame.
Right.
You know what I mean? And or like I'm the best Madden player in Albany. That's your claim to fame. And so really just want to accentuate like what makes you as a gamer. You know, like what makes you proud to be a gamer. So it really bounced off the idea of like even if you think you're the best whatever, you know, the best Mega Man player ever. You know, that's your claim to fame. Like, so it would bounce off an idea of like you create a user profile and like that was your claim to fame. You know, your claim to fame is, you know, and then you have a link to your Twitch or your YouTube. Right. You know, so then people can see what your claim to fame is. Right. Someone took the idea and kind of accentuated it, like facilitated it with millions of dollars. So like whatever, but like that's okay. But
not bitter.
Yeah, no, not at all. But so like it really, so it's a play on words, and then it's like okay, the logos like so the original logo was claim to fame entertainment. The C was a cent sign, and the F was like a play of a diamond. Okay, so like rags to riches type thing. Yeah. Okay, so that was too much. You know what I mean? For a startup, it's like claim to fame entertainment. It's so long. Even the website, claim to fame entertainment.com. It's like what the hell? But you know. It has to stick out, so you have to keep the entertainment. Plus, claim to fame was taken by some music company or something. So we were just like, okay, we'll just stick with the entertainment. And how can we do this and cut down all the trash in it? And so I was like, the personal thing is, I really like the cent sign because it like makes you real. Nobody understands that C is a cent sign. Yeah. In our logo. Oh, like in the star is a cent sign.
I thought that's what it was. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
So it's like rags to riches type thing, like you know, cent sign to the star. Yeah. You know, and the star is kind of shooting away. So I really like it. And then people were like, I don't understand it. And I was like, you don't need to understand it. Yeah. Do you understand the Nike sign? Like, does anybody?
Yeah, exactly.
Does anybody understand the Newport sign? It's an upside down Nike sign.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, it's not for, at that point, like, that's more personal than anything. You know, like, people might hate it or whatever, but I don't care. Right. I'm so far past it that it's like, that's our logo.
And you guys have been around so long that like changing a logo is a big deal now.
Yeah, like if we wanted to really change our logo, you're changing your identity.
Right,
you know what I mean? So like, and you know what? It's corny, and that's like what we're going for. It's not like we're a multi-billion-dollar brand. Right. Would it be nice if we were? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that's awesome. But like at the same time, like I mean, you look at logos over here, like I mean, like somebody came up with the idea, and that's what it was.
Right. Yeah. And it's just, and you have to that's just it. That's just all it is.
And like,
forever.
We can change it. And then if 20th Century Fox changed their logo, you'd be like, who the hell is that?
Right. Yeah.
Not that anybody cares. It's 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like your identity, and like we're a small business, and we do something that's like out of the normal. So
right.
Like, why can't our logo be, you know?
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So that was like really, that's like our real basis of like claim to fame. And like we want players to feel like special. Like even if you're just a silver ELO player in League of Legends, like your claim to fame is that you're a silver ADC player, like whatever character you play, you know?
Yeah,
and like it accentuates that, like feel like, hey, listen, that's my claim to fame. Yeah. And then obviously people are going to shit on it. I mean, that's what people do. Right. People are shitty. So, so like, but it's about just being proud of what you've accomplished in a game. And then people are like, well, video games are stupid.
That's guess what?
So is football. So you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. People are going to hate it, but it's how you just go with it. Yeah. And go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's funny because like, you know, I used to take a lot personal, but not with this business. I don't like. I just like it is what it is. You know.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. You put yourself out there on the internet, people are gonna dump on you.
Oh,
people
Reddit.
Love you. Yeah,
Reddit trashed us, which was awesome. It was humbling because you're just like, yo, I could show you is so bad. I mean, like, I've been trolled. I mean, I play video games, but
Yeah.
this guy got me good. So, wow. So, but I mean, like, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's like corny.
Yeah.
And like consistent. If you keep changing it and like, hey, how about we change this?
No. Yeah.
Too much change is bad.
Yeah. And like, thing is too, like, a couple of StarCraft players used to change their name every once in a while. And it's like, bro, we all know you as this. Everyone's gonna call you that. The commentators are gonna call you that. It doesn't matter if it's on the screen. That's who they know you are now.
Right.
Like, you can't change this. So like, you gotta just kind of stick with what you got eventually. And
you gotta have an identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and you can make anything cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it being cool doesn't really matter at the same time because there's gonna be haters, which I like more than people that like us because they're taking more effort to not like something.
Yeah.
Than somebody that, like, why are you not liking it?
Yeah.
I don't mind having a discussion why they don't like it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, if they don't like it because it's something new and it's different, that's stupid.
That's gonna happen. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. That's how the world
You
works.
just gotta get around it and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're doing it baby steps too. We're not like, we didn't put like $100,000 into the marketing campaign.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, we're just doing word of mouth, doing events, Facebook, and social medias that are free. We're not trying to like push this on people.
Yeah.
People like it, they like it.
Yeah,
you know, we make our posts, we get 3 likes, whatever. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
So like we stream every Monday. We stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays, and we might have 5 viewers. Whatever. That doesn't bother us.
That's still 5 people who are sitting around to watch you.
Exactly. So, and it's not even about that. It's just about the content. Because if someone can go watch that later and see the beginnings of it, like, that's like more interesting than where they're at now. You know.
Are you guys taking any of that stuff, any content you're making and putting on other platforms, or just doing Twitch and stuff like that?
No, we do YouTube.
Okay.
So like JP was really good at doing our Overwatch nights.
Yeah.
Like the highlights of them and putting them on
yeah.
YouTube. And those got like really good views, you know, because people are seeing them on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know? He just got lazy. But I mean, lazy in that sense that like you get complacent when you're doing something well.
Yeah.
He's not hungry enough.
Right.
You know, Immortal Tech was awesome, but I'm like, oh, we could do more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was very happy with it. That's never going to change. But then I'm like thinking, we didn't have to cap that.
Right. Yeah.
Or we didn't, but it's good because it's baby steps.
Right.
Because if you didn't,
you need to put yourself in baby steps, but also always want bigger, always want better. Yeah.
And I think, you know, some people lack that, even in claim to fame. Like, they're happy with what they do, but that's not their job to be hungry. Like, their job is to, like JP, like I said, JP and Tony, make sure the people are happy, complaints, whatever. I got off track, but Dan does he's like knows the games in and out, or that's his job. Like, he has the Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
He has like the certification. And,
Okay.
So, and he TO'd like a lot of the Warcraft card game before they had Hearthstone. And then like his, you know, Magic and all that stuff. Like, that's what his job is to do. And then make sure like we know what games are being played and what games need to be played and what games people are looking for. And he does our TOing out at Monday nights. You know, he runs the bracket and stuff. I mean, we try to get the players to run them as much as possible, but he's the one behind the PC.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it works out perfectly because if I had to do all that stuff, I'd be done already.
Right.
I would. It'd be so burnt out.
It's a lot on one person. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, and if Dan was sitting in a room with CEOs, I mean, it'd be a different story too. So like, it all works out. Not to bash anything on Dan or anything, but like, I mean, you don't want to give that stigma of what they already think.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm the skinniest dude, but, you know, but at the same time, like, you don't want to put off that, like, hey, this is what I think of a gamer, and that's what just showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it all works out.
It's a balance, but you have enough people that cover everything, and you're doing everything, and not any one person is doing everything.
Yeah, and that's the problem. If you try to do everything, good luck.
Yeah.
You're burnt out. And like, you know, I reach out to different, like, I've been wanting to do a project with like a local DJ where we do like an event and they have like a DJ there and like, but more of a party atmosphere, not like a competitive atmosphere. And I don't know how that will go. I mean, I want it to encompass both communities, but at the same time, like, I don't know how that would cross over because we're still so new and some of these DJs in the area are like expect certain things.
Okay.
And I don't really care what they expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I don't care if a DJ has 300 people come. You know,
Right.
Like we can get what we can get,
Right.
and if people want to play video games and have music, because I always like music and gaming. Like,
Right,
that's
yeah.
my thing. I mean, now a lot of games are about communication, so you
Right,
can just
yeah,
turn the music up. But when I play Winston in Rank Q by myself, turn the music up. I don't care what people say.
Right, yeah.
But you know, music is, I think, you know, when people are competing, I think music hypes you up and
Oh,
gets
yeah.
you in the mood.
Oh, definitely.
you know?
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, there's different types of music. Like if someone's listening to country and they're playing, I think they're a little weird.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Whatever hypes you up, you know? And so, and then I was thinking, you know, music with competitive, depending what game it is, like pubs, you need to hear stuff.
Oh, right, yeah, you
So,
can't listen to music. There's no,
So if it was like custom fun games, like a Fortnite custom game,
Yeah.
you know, that would be fun with music and a DJ and stuff. But, you know, like some of the DJs in this area, like think they're like more important than other people or other things. And I'm just like, this is going to be like a joint venture. So
Yeah.
it's like not
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you or not about us. It's about both of us.
Right, yeah.
And that's why that scene is kind of just.
I didn't even know there were like DJs in Albany who also had like a, you know, stick up their ass about it. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. it is very strange because like that is a business model that I don't want gaming to go down. Because
Right, yeah.
they like imploded on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They had an awesome promoter. They had a couple photographers that were doing it, you know, and they just wanted more.
Yeah.
When they didn't take the baby steps. They just thought, you know, whatever. And the promoters thought they were something that they weren't.
Yeah.
And it imploded the scene. So it's a struggle for the DJs in this area. I mean, there's really good DJs. They just like, they don't have one promoter.
Mm-hmm.
They have like several, which.
Oh, okay. Like it's kind of muddled.
Well, gaming is the same thing. If you have 4 weeklies,
Oh, right, yeah.
it's just like, wait, why?
Right,
like,
yeah.
Why not just have one? Everybody benefits from it. And
Right.
so and it's like, you know, money, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, oh, God. Like everything it comes down to money. Because if you're not making money, then why are you doing it?
Right, yeah.
And then we have the special privilege of like, we're making money, but we don't, like, it is what it is. Like, if we're not making money, like, we're still eating our food. We're still doing our day jobs and stuff. So
yeah, that's good. You didn't dedicate everything to it. You can
but at the same time, I wish we could.
Yeah.
Because then it would be further along. But I think
that gives you a goal.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. And like when you sit down and you think about it, and everything's worked out because of the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
And if we rushed it, I could have seen some potential problems. And I mean, you can't predict the future, but you can see where when people rush something.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, you got to take that. You got to understand the pacing of it and understand what you got to do. And then even if it's just getting practice.
Yeah.
You know, that's important too.
Well, that's the thing. Like our Monday nights are like, okay, us setting up, and then whoever shows up shows up. Like we do promotion on Facebook, like, hey, tag your friend. But like we're not giving away a kitchen sink just so people can come out. You know, it's $10 for a biweekly. That's a $5 weekly. It's the same thing. Like people don't understand that there, and it's like you're playing video games and. The value of it is more of the community feel. Yeah. Like you're coming out, you're meeting people.
Right, because all these games you can play at home.
Exactly. And that's another thing. People are like, well, how can you get these guys to come out and where are you going to make your money? And it's like, well, think of it as like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Like how and bowling. Like how do those things stay in business forever?
Right.
And it's how they get the community feel. Birthday parties.
Right.
Like, you know, these social activities, and like bowling makes all their money off leagues, and maybe their Saturday nights.
Right.
So like you got to think like, well, if you're gonna model after something, you want to model after like a bowling.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Because like that's what you're gonna do. You have maybe dart leagues.
Yeah.
And, you know, in your bowling facility, you have a bar.
And like if that's your business too, like that's ridiculous. You know?
Right.
Like those are ridiculous sports.
Yeah.
So like if you're like, oh yeah, bowling and darts, totally fine. But video games, fuck that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What?
That's what I don't get. Like, like I was talking to this guy. He was a cornhole player. Okay. Cornhole.
Like, no, that was a thing you could do.
It's an actual league. Like
really,
it was on ESPN 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're in a facility and people are watching them play cornhole.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And there's camera angles and it's like There's commentary and everything.
That's so weird.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching it with my wife, and I'm like, is this more of a sport than gaming?
Yeah,
and she's
exactly.
like, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Because it's a physical activity. I said, all right, I'm going to give you a controller. You
Yeah.
play Halo against somebody who wants it. She gets the controller, runs in the middle, in the corner, can't
understand. Yeah.
So like, I'm just like, see, it's harder than you think it is. She's like, but it's not physically taxing. I'm like, sit here for 8 hours.
Right.
And do
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. When you play a game for like 8 hours and you get up, you're like, fuck, I hate everything. I want to die.
Yeah.
Same thing if you fucking just worked out for 8 hours.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Same exact
and
thing.
so like, it's all about perspective too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's not as physically taxing as dunking a basketball.
Oh yeah.
But
Not everyone can do that. But
Exactly.
not everyone's gonna hit the sickest fucking sniper shot or something. You know.
Exactly. And she's like, that's fake though. And I'm like, what is fake and what is
Right,
real?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
come on. Like, can you really fathom an idea that a 5'7" guy is dunking a basketball?
Yeah.
Like, that's physically like impossible.
That's the nice thing about gaming is it takes out that physical requirement.
Right.
You can be whatever you want. Like
Yeah.
fucking Broly Legs is a sick fucking player, and he's like really crazy disabled, but he's like a sick player.
Yeah.
You know, it's like anyone can do anything. You
Yeah.
know, it's that's the really nice thing about it.
Yeah,
It's like-
and see, we see it as nice things, and people are like, well, these kids are like overweight or like this. I'm like, well, you know what I mean, like bowlers,
right.
golfers. I was watching the Masters the other day, and like our last couple weeks, and the dude's big,
Yeah.
but nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know? It's like whatever. So it's just that stigma of like, oh, you're playing a video game because
That's all it is.
it's like, oh, these kids do it in the basement.
Yeah. It's all about stigma and all about people thinking one thing or another. And then,
In Japan, it's huge. You're like a rock star.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like just people here like see it as like, oh, like a big D is playing a game, and it's like, oh, that's video games.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, whatever. But I mean, those are the tribulations that you have for.
It's shit. You're gonna have to walk
Yeah.
through. You have to get over that and over that hurdle. And once you get over them, like I said, the Drake thing that Ninja was talking about, that's gonna change a whole bunch.
Yeah.
That's gonna open a new door where someone's people who are like don't give a shit, but like, oh Drake,
Yeah,
Drake's that's
exactly.
fucking cool.
And like PUBG, the same thing. Like
Dead Mouse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dead Mouse, and like then even some of the hockey players during the playoffs.
Oh,
like,
really? Yeah.
They had a picture of them on Instagram or like Twitter, and they were like after practice they were all sitting there on the big screen playing PUBG,
There you go.
and it's like, and they hashtag them and all.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
That's free advertisement for these guys, and it's like, oh, that guy, he plays video games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't need to look
Yeah.
a certain way to play video games.
Exactly.
So. But I mean, that's the next thing in gaming. Like, you see all the athletes are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even LeBron James.
Right.
Everybody knows what LeBron James is. So even on ESPN, they were like, his son called him before one of the playoffs games. He's like, "Hey, do you think you'll be able to jump on Fortnite tonight?"
That's hilarious.
So
It's
and
adorable.
he goes, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "When I'm done, after I eat and shower and everything, I'll jump on."
That's adorable.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So it's like, it's becoming like whatever.
It's becoming becoming far wider.
Yeah. And it doesn't have any boundaries like bowling or
No.
like darts.
Like I
and
say, it has no physical boundaries. It's
Right.
just how much time you want to put into it to become the better player. Or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I'm gonna be a bad host for a second. Go pee.
no, that's fine. That's cool.
Holding that shit in for like 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
I started drinking before you got here, and then I was like, we started doing. I was like, I can hold this. It was like, oh my god, I can't keep going. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would have been like, yo, time.
But what was I saying? We were talking about physicality in terms of gaming, but
Yeah.
like it's nuts how much that can just like I'm never gonna be a professional basketball player ever. I'm not like 6'8" or like athletic or jacked as fuck or whatever people would want to qualify as that. But if I want to put the time in and do nothing else, because to become a professional gamer, you got to put fucking 10 hours a day in. But you could do it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And some people pick it up quicker.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like, I mean, like, even then, you still, a lot of the team games you need.
Right, you need the cooperation, stuff like that.
And like the coordination and everything. I mean, like, people see like these guys on the League of Legends stage playing, and you're just like thinking, oh, I could do that. And you're
right,
like,
yeah. No. Yeah.
They probably play like 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, like I was in that same H3 Ninja interview. Like he was like, I play for like from like the early mornings until like 7, and then 7 till like 3 in the morning. It's like, or like he takes like an hour off or something. It's like, Jesus, this guy's playing Fortnite all fucking day long. That's why he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
You know, but he has a history of that too. He's, you know, like you can't become a good. He's a old Halo pro.
Yeah.
You don't become that unless he was sitting in his basement being like he was like talking about like people be like, oh hey, your grandmother's here. He'd be like, that's cool, and he has to keep playing Halo. Like that's what he's got to do. You know, it's, like, it's great that they're here. As also, I got to be in the basement playing this game. I can't focus on this other thing. This is the thing I'm going to become the greatest at. You know, and I don't know if you heard the episode I did where I had the debate with people that were here about like the talent versus skill. That there is no talent. It's all just skill, and talent is that snapshot of the skill. Yeah. Like, that's how I totally think it, you know, and I think gaming is very much an easy way to see that, where it's like, oh, you're such a talented player. No, I just play. That's all I do. This is like literally all I do. Right. You know, like, I can't speak for Dark Wizzy, but I would assume most of what his thinking is about is Smash 4. Yeah. That's what this kid cares about. Yeah. And that makes him great because he doesn't have other things interrupting him, and he has the time to put into the game and become great at it.
I mean, that's what I asked him, like, hey, do you play anything else? And he was like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, no other fighters? And he's like, no. Makes sense.
Right, I mean, you're not going to be great unless that's the thing you do.
And the funny thing is like, he's good, but there's like another level that he could achieve. And I think it's more of like, from being outsider perspective and not inside the Smash community, is that this region doesn't really give him that. Right. And that's why it's unfair to say. I mean, it's the truth, but it's unfair to say because I don't think anybody sees the game like he does. Right. And they don't practice like he does. Like, the dude went to a tournament and then was on Wi-Fi all night. Like, right.
It's all he wants to do.
And so, like, you know, we talked to our players. Yeah. And, you know, Rusent and Mitsu and Grunk. And I think the highest ceiling would be Grunk. He's just so smart with the game. Right. But he doesn't have the time to do like Wizzy does. Right. Mitsu, I mean, these guys, they're sponsored for a reason. They've earned it, and they're likable. Like, they can get stuff done. But they don't have the time to do what Wizzy does. Because if Grunk had the time that Wizzy did to play the game, and he put the time into it, he would be like a top 50 player.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's no question about it. He has the mentality and the mindset, and like,
that's super important. Yeah, just understanding your mentality and how to, like, this failed. How do I grow off of that? As opposed to being like, fuck, that character's broken, and just immediately stopping all growth. Yeah. So, like, perfect example at Overclock 2, huge tournament in Boston, very nice venue, gaming lounge out there. I'll tell you about that in a second. It's really nice. He had a certain mindset, and we talked. We went for a little walk around Boston, which was nice. It was a nice day, and we just talked about different things about life. And like, we didn't even talk about the game. We just like said, "Hey, you know, what's going on? This, and that, and the other." And like, just like, Grunk's a cool dude, so like, we were just talking. And after that discussion that we had, it seemed like he did a lot better because his mind wasn't just like about the game, but it was like just understanding that it's a game. Yeah, and like, this person's going to do this and you're going to do this. Yeah. It's how you react and how you, like, your pressures and all that. You know, I mean, there's the whole thing about the game, but at the same time, it's like, you got to remember, it's just a game. Right. Yeah. You know, it's just like if you're playing chess, like, you got to know your opponent. And I said to these guys, I said, let's do like a fun day where you don't know who you're playing. Oh, right. Yeah. Like, let's just put you in a cubicle and someone else in a cubicle. Yeah. You don't know who you're playing. And see how you perform against them. Like, if you don't know if that's Dark Wizzy, excuse me, if you don't know if that's Dark Wizzy, are you going to perform differently? Right. Yeah. You would have no idea. So, I mean, that's anything. You know what I mean? Like, there was one time I was playing some pros in Overwatch on Xbox. So they're like pro players on Xbox, and I didn't know that they were the pro players until someone told me. Right. Yeah. You're never going to know that stuff until someone reaches out. I'm playing my Winston, and they messaged me afterwards. Yo, your Winston's really good. You know, this, you should try out for these teams. And, oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and I was like, are they trolling me? And then, like, they linked up with me, and they were like pro players.
So that stuff's awesome. Where it's just like, as long as you're growing and you're learning and you're adjusting your play and, like, you know, not constantly making the same mistake. It's like, Winston's a great example for that. You know, it's like, you jump in, you get murdered. oh, my team, people were still respawning. That was my bad. Let me now, next time I do that, I'm going to wait the 2 seconds for people to back me up.
Right.
Boom, now I'm going to jump in. Now I'm alive because a Mercy decided to follow up with me or whatever, however you want to adjust it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I have to communicate as well because, like, if I'm like, all right, listen, at the beginning of the game, I tell people, I'm a very aggressive Winston.
Yeah.
Like, you can play whoever you want, but this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like, and I know the map, so this is how I'm going to jump in, and this is what I'm going to do. And I guess the hardest time I have is, like, people not understanding, like, when I mean aggressive, I mean, like, straight away.
And, like, I've noticed, like, playing with you now, where it's like, if I'm playing, like, Mercy, we win.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm going to follow you.
Yeah.
I like aggressive play. We're aggressive players.
Yeah.
But, like, if we play with someone else who's like, oh, yeah, I'm totally aggressive, but they just hang back and do nothing, it's like, bro, like, this is not going to help us at all. Like,
What's funny is when Tony played Mercy and I was Winston, I mean, we were pretty much unstoppable. The old Mercy, not this Mercy.
Yeah,
he doesn't like this Mercy for some reason.
Oh, really? I think she's pretty fantastic. She's pretty efficient.
I don't know why. I think he likes that whole mass res thing, even though he was horrible at it. But, like, yeah, and people would be like, well, you're only that good because your brother's playing with you. Well, I mean,
that's just people. That's teamwork. That's a team game. It's like,
exactly.
You can't be like, the game is designed in a way where you can't be the best player without 5 other people backing you up.
Right.
Like, you need that support.
Yeah, you can't 1v6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all about situation. Like, I know they have a Zenny, so Zenny's not going to stand on top of them, so I go after him.
Right.
It's like, it's knowing that too. It's like, okay, well, then they have a Roadhog and a Reaper.
Yeah.
So they're like, you need to change off Winston. I'm like, and my perfect response to them is, why don't you change to something where they are countered?
Yeah. Because
essentially, I'm like the best player on this team. No.
Humble brag.
Okay, that's not bad. But like the way I play the game and at that elo 2500, like there's no skill. Like it's like, okay, what team do you have? And this is communication, and that's it. Especially with randoms,
Yeah.
Last night when we were playing, I think it was just more no communication.
No, there was, and that's, I should be talking more too, and I just don't do it. But like when we play that game, like I switched Reaper and we got murdered, like that was just him being a better Reaper than all 6 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, his play of the game was him getting 4 headshots in a row with Reaper.
Yeah, it wasn't even his ult. Yeah,
this is guys just better at the character than we are at the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, that's not gonna, we can't beat that.
And the fact that he like super counters me is like I
it super counters you if you fight him.
Yeah.
If you never fight him, he stops being your counter.
And and that's what they were like, well, he counters you and so does Roadhog, but I should never be in a fight where I'm fighting them.
You never fight them. We should have characters that fight them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm on the back line.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking them out of their element of their game where those two have to watch both the healers, then I'm changing the aspect of the game where now we can push.
Yeah.
So like, people don't understand that, and I was like trying to tell, not you guys, but I was telling another team, like, listen, I'm going out and I'm getting the Mercy and somebody else, or the Mercy or the Zenny.
Yeah.
And they're coming back for me. So that means you have the advantage of advancing.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, and then you play aggressive because then you get their DPS and they're not protected. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the back's turned to go get to you.
Right.
And,
exactly. And they don't it's like, oh, Winston keeps dying, but they don't understand. Like,
no one's like, you die because no one's following you, because no one understands what your level of aggression means into the game.
Yeah.
Like when like we were talking about earlier, when you were at like 4 health, and I was like, yo, jump back if you want healing, and you just didn't, and you just stayed alive the whole time. And I was like, oh, he just understands this character. He knows what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But no one's no one's backing you up in the way that you need to be backed up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I don't communicate it that well because like I'm like, all right, at a dime I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But I know that I know where the health pack is.
Yeah.
I know that I can jump there. I know I can get a shield behind me and a double shield.
Yeah.
And so like, I know what I'm doing. It's the other people like, okay, well, Winston is just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Let's play the game.
Yeah.
And advance that. And I do a poor job of just saying, hey, you guys play your game and do what you got to do, like kill the healer, kill the DPS, and I'll take care of what I have to do.
Like, honestly, like the biggest change is just you be like, I'm jumping on this character, and everyone just starts looking at that character. Like, that alone would just, that would make you look,
next level.
Yeah, that would make you look less like I'm just a crazy person jumping in, where it's like, no, I'm doing this exact thing, guys, and everyone goes, oh, okay, sure. Because that's how everyone, like, if you watch Overwatch League, everyone uses Zenyatta because anytime that happens, everyone goes, "We're killing this thing," and then Discord orbit, and he dies.
Yeah.
That character is done. Like that, and that's kind of like why that character got so popular.
Yeah.
It's like this is the murder you character. And don't necessarily do anything but stare at someone and hit E, and then they die. You know,
exactly. And that's the thing. Like if we, I mean, that's the only thing we're really missing is like, hey, listen, we know that we need one Zenny. And communication.
Yeah, because you were talking about when you were some of your friends that are higher elo, like they're just constantly calling out, "We're killing this guy, we're killing this guy, we're doing this,
Yeah.
we're going to here, move this way." And like I try to do that more when I'm Reinhardt. Like, hey, my shield's down, I'm gonna go this place, I'm gonna try to move this way, I'm adjusting this in this direction, just so people understand like what's going on. Because nothing's worse than like all of a sudden the shield disappears and you die. It doesn't help if people are just gonna run in front of the shield to begin with. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. See, and the thing is Tony's very aggressive too, but Moira is like. I don't like his Moira because he's like, oh, I got top damage. But then you're not healing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then he has top heals. But then the other guy is not. I hate when I see a Moira with like a Lucio.
I just hate when I see a Moira.
True. Good point. And I'm like, Tony, just go back to Mercy, man. Like he doesn't understand the reason why he's at like
Bronze.
Yeah. Is because he's carrying the game, but that's not winning the game.
Right, yeah. No, yeah. Because that's not a character that can carry the game.
Right.
You can be doing the best on your team, but it's not winning the team the game because that's not what that character's supposed to do.
Right. And that's what Vargas says to me about Winston. He's like, yeah, the fact that you have gold elims and gold damage that's probably why you're going to lose the game.
Right, yeah.
Because that means...
No, that's exactly. Cause I remember I used to watch DSP Stank. He used to be like he's a really good Lucio. Since retired, but he would be like, oh, I have gold healing. This is bad. Because that's not what Lucio should be doing. He should be primarily moving people around with the speed boost.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, even if it's just like you run in and then back up or whatever. Like if when I get the chance to play Lucio, which is very rare these days, like I'll follow people so that they can just fall back properly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, just to get fast or like you never sit in one aura over another. You're just constantly switching because when you switch, at least it was, I don't know if they've changed it since, there was a like maybe 2-second delay where you had both going at once.
Right.
So you would just swap between healing boost, and you're just like changing. So many people are moving faster, and then it's just trying to understand where people are. And it's more like playing Lucio is more just trying to read your teammates than reading your opponents.
Yes.
And like that's why I enjoy playing him because like I don't have to necessarily communicate with, or someone doesn't have to communicate with me.
Right.
I just have to be like, I've noticed what you've done the last 3 times we've had this engagement. I'm going to try to support you so that you can do that safely.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, like that's also knowing the game and situations. Like, I mean, and the map, like, you know, Lucio with the boops and stuff. So
I used to, every time a map would come out, I used to go in as Lucio and just by myself figure out where health packs were, figure out where spawns were, figure out where like you know, flanks would be from and stuff like that. Just mapping that shit by myself.
Yeah.
Just try to figure it out. And I haven't done that since with the new 2 maps. But
2 maps are trash.
so not good. They're not good.
They're just like very aggro maps, you know. Like it's like I like that, but then at the same time I don't because like defense is so. I like being on offense first because then I know like, hey, I can slack on defense a little bit.
Right. You can gauge your opponents too, like how much you have to really put into the work.
Yeah, so I mean the game is good. I just don't want it to like I just don't like how they like killed it with the league. Like I mean the small businesses, but like
I think the whole thing was killed by the league.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing because the way the league is trying to be so sanitized.
Yeah.
And just like and sure, XUC went a little too far. That guy's a little crazy. I still enjoy him as a streamer because he is so crazy, and I learned a fuckload.
Yeah.
Because I also enjoy playing Winston when I'm like solo.
Yeah.
So like it's good to learn like, oh hey, this is how you properly position yourself to just not necessarily even hit a button just because you're standing here and doing these things.
Yeah.
They're scared and gonna back up.
Exactly.
Playing that mind game. I enjoy watching that and learning that. And like he also plays Reinhardt occasionally, which I want to learn more. But like he said some crazy things. He's gonna. It's like, and I remember that reading about him getting fired. They were like, it wasn't because of what he said. It's because he's constantly getting suspended.
Yeah,
we can't be a team when our main tank is suspended 6 weeks out of the year. Like that just can't happen.
Yeah,
we have to let him go. And I was like, that makes sense. That's fair. Like, but it's the constant amount. Like I have a eSports app on my phone, so it'll pop up little stories for like Counter-Strike or the Overwatch, whatever. The amount I'm getting for fucking Overwatch League of this guy got fined, this guy got fined, this guy did this thing, it might get fined. It's like tone this shit down. Like you guys gotta like I get you're trying to make this like a fucking cookie cutter, everyone can enjoy this thing, but also you're dealing with brand new gamers coming out of nowhere, like really, like it's weird.
Yeah.
But like,
well, that's the thing. Like these companies want you to set a precedence for these.
That's the hard part too, because like the people that are behind the Overwatch League, crazy money, money, like NFL like owners and stuff. It's like I can understand them, like Blizzard being like, "Yo, fuck yourself, get out of here, done." Not even a little bit.
Yeah, because we'll replace you, and guess what? There's people hungry for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you want that personality. I mean, you think about NBA like Dennis Rodman and like outstandish personalities.
Yeah, and he's fucking going to North Korea and shit.
Exactly.
Like, that guy's weird.
Yeah, exactly. And like you kind of need that, but like it's so new that you don't want it.
Yeah,
you know, want
it's tough because I actually was listening to people talking about XQC being left from Fuel.
Yeah,
and they're like, "This is a really hard situation. This dude wants to stream on his own. That's a great thing for your brand. This guy just streaming 12 hours a day, every day, just wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
But he's also a crazy volatile personality where it's like, how do you balance this?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this guy's great for, it's Monday. No, who the fuck cares about Overwatch? Oh, XQC streaming. This guy's entertaining. I want to watch XQC.
Right.
Then by Wednesday, he's saying fucking some crazy shit, and you're like, we have to suspend him. Where's the balance? Or it's like, this guy's great for us as a brand. And like when Fuel started, Fuel was the fan team. It was Siegel, XQC, like all these people that like, they're the streamers, that Mickey, people love.
Yeah.
Terrible as a team. Well, like people love them.
Yeah.
And like everyone's just like, yeah, let's go Fuel. Oh, they suck ass, but let's go Fuel.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have that because like not everyone could be number one.
Right.
So that was an ingenious part to do. Like, hey, listen, let's just get them together.
Yeah.
Let's make a ton of money and like whatever.
There's Fuel jerseys everywhere. Yeah. People love Fuel.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's got to be a team that does that anyway. Yeah. But you also can't cross the line when, like, if the NFL started and someone died or whatever, died or got paralyzed.
Yeah.
That's how they see it. They're like, oh my God, like, where are we going to go from here? So, and the thing is, they're getting paid like $80,000 a year, like a salary. Like, are you dumb to be like? I mean, I know he makes that in streaming and whatever, but like, if you're a pioneer in your industry,
there's definitely a line. He definitely should have toned that shit back, but it's.
And then he shows like what gamers are really about.
True. That's also a bad thing. That's a good point. Actually, I didn't even really think of that angle where it's like. You doing this, like, even if it's just people in the Overwatch League making articles about the Overwatch League, you doing this shit, going a little crazy.
Yeah, because if ESPN was like, oh, another suspension today at Overwatch League, people would be like, that just started,
right? And that's how I feel as a fan, where I'm like, this just started, but there's suspensions and fines every day. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Some fines I disagree with, like the teabagging one. Yeah. Like, yo, tone that shit down. I watched the clip of that. The whole crowd starts booing. I'm like, what are you watching? You're watching a video game. Shouldn't we just all accept this as a thing? Shouldn't we like cheer about this?
I know, and that's the problem because like they don't understand like. That's like part of the society to teabag somebody, but like that they trying to change it, and that's the thing about change is like, are you gonna change it too much where it's like it's not what it was?
Right. Yeah, and that's the scary part of it, where it's like I just want to have fun and like just talk shit with my friends.
Exactly.
But like, whereas I mean, I guess if you had like an NFL player like get a touchdown and flip everyone off, people would be like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
So like maybe that's kind of the equivalent of teabagging someone, but like. For me, it's a cute rivalry thing where it's like he teabagged the other Tracer, he fucked on him. He's like, I got you, boy. Like, we got.
Yeah.
Like, it's cute I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, in the NFL, you can taunt. Like, when you score a touchdown, you can do your little dance.
But they banned that for a while, right?
They banned it, and then they brought it back.
Right, yeah, because people hated that. People like that shit.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can't do. Like, you can't do, like, the cutthroat thing.
Right, okay.
And you can't do, like, Randy Moss mooned them. Like, not really mooned them, but, like, bent over and, like, kind of pulled his pants down. And, like... I can understand that, but if that, there's the balance.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe you don't teabag them. Maybe you just put like the teabag symbol.
Right. Yeah.
That's
the thing that's crazy too is that there's a teabag spray in the game, and you're gonna get upset about this. It's crazy.
I know. So it's like they want to hit all the masses too, because like if the NFL owner that owns that team, his wife is watching it and they're like, wait, what did he do? First of all, she probably doesn't even know what teabag is.
Yeah,
so they're making it a thing that's not
too.
A thing yet.
That's true too. No one that owns these teams has any concept of what teabagging is. They have no idea what just happened.
Yeah,
they're just seeing articles written about their team and bad and money being spent. They're like, fuck this, I'm done. Like, it's
exactly. So I mean, that's the thing about esports is like you can't make it what it's not.
Yeah,
but you also have to like know like, okay, what I want to represent it in a good way. And that's why there's that balance where that's why it's still new.
Yeah.
Because there's no established, like if you're in the NFL and you smoke weed, you're going to get suspended.
Right, yeah.
But when it first started, if they're smoking weed and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Right,
like,
yeah.
You're completely out of the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, it definitely seems like all the decisions made by Blizzard are like dramatic.
Yeah.
But like, I get that. Yeah, it's got to be like they don't know.
it's so dramatic because it's on a larger scale.
Yeah.
You know, where if someone came and teabagged at our event, we're like, oh, everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, everyone would be cheering and stuff.
And then,
yeah.
then people are like, all right, get this dude. You know,
Yeah, like they had that with the International. The one guy, he was going as like 69 hentai tentacle surprise, and they're like, but when you come to the actual event where it's stream like put on TV, change your shit and be Mason. And he's like, all right, sure. So like they let that shit happen for a little while, but then they had to pull it back. And like that's fine. And like Cool Matt 69, who plays for Outlaws, I think, they made him take the 69 out of his name, but gave him the 69 jersey. I'm like, all right, that's cute.
Yeah.
All right, so you're trying.
yeah.
So it is a balance. It is a bit of a balance.
Yeah, and you, like I said, the point is like you can't make it something that it's not.
Right.
And this is how it got popular.
Yeah.
So you can't just like take the legs out of it.
Yeah.
So it is a balance, and you gotta have some kind of respect, but at the same time, like these players are just like, this is just another paycheck for them. They're getting paid either way from their stream and whatever they're doing anyway, but they don't understand. Maybe they don't understand the importance of it for like the younger, like trying to get. But at the same time, they're killing it with the E-League because they're just like, hey, if you're in this top percentile, this is how you get
right.
here.
Yeah, you just play the game.
Yeah, and that's why, like you said, the leagues are killing it because you can't have that balance. You either this is it and that's it.
Yeah.
So
it's tough, and we'll see I hope like everything starts to pull together and everyone kind of gets happy near the end of it. But
yeah, I mean, even reaching out to big sponsors like Monster. So we have a partnership with Monster, and they supply us monsters.
Yeah,
that's all they do, and sometimes gear and whatever. Now Salem is with Team Liquid.
Yeah,
and Team Liquid is sponsored with Monster. So what do they essentially do for them? They throw a logo on them and they give them monsters.
Right.
I mean, they only can do so much in the gaming world. What are they going to do? They're not, you know what I mean? And so, like, bringing that back to, like, you don't want it to get too crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it comes back to, it's just gaming.
Yeah.
So, for me, to balance it and all that, it's just like, wow.
It's tough, too, because, like, sports, if you went off to go play basketball, you're playing with maybe 12 people for the entire time you're playing that basketball. And you leave and you can maybe play with another 12 people. But like, play Overwatch, you're playing with 12 people. Game ends in 15 minutes. You're playing with another random 12 people.
Right.
Like, it's so different. Everyone's so different, and like everything's got to blend together. And like, it's a vastly different form of competition.
Yeah.
Where like, even if you're playing, in Smash, you could play up to 8 people in a bigger tournament or whatever,
right.
but like that's 8 vastly different people. You are in person, so you're less likely to be a total piece of shit. But
right.
like, online especially, I have definitely gone nights where I've started Overwatch at 5, and all of a sudden it's 2:00 in the morning. You're like, the amount of players I've played with in just one night is crazy.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard to not want to like troll in quotes and be like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck with this person, or I'm gonna say this thing that's kind of mean. Like we were playing the one game the other day, and the guy was like, oh, if they get them off the cart, they're gonna lose. You're like, yeah, fucking course we do. But like I like fucked them a little bit, and it's like, like I'm just done with your bullshit. Like
yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like that is part of the game.
Yeah.
And to take it away or to like mainstream it is like, okay, so. When it's mainstream, it's like, okay, you have all these sponsors paying money to be advertised, and that's why they don't want you to say that.
Right, yeah.
But if it's like a Joe Blow tournament, they don't care.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's streamed and like 2,000 people are watching, whatever. But like, as soon as you start throwing these logos, like I said, like Monster, like Red Bull, like they're going to be like, nix this, nix that. Yeah. And like, it kind of kills that like grassroots feeling.
And that's the charm of, I think, esports in general, is that grassroots feeling of like...
Once you start taking that away, like that community feel, that whole like, I'm playing this dude and like, whatever happens. And like, playing online is playing online.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. But like then streaming it and having partners. And,
That is definitely where, because I remember I was listening to Daquan, who's a Fortnite streamer. I fucking love him. He's so funny. But like someone asked him like, hey, what do you think about? He's a black guy. And he's like, what do you think about using the N-word? He's like, yo, I used to use it all the time, but like once I got picked up by TSM, all these people, like I just had to take it out. Like it didn't matter that much. Like he could say it, it's totally fine. But like he's like, I don't. Yeah. It's not gonna affect. It's gonna hurt. Like not necessarily hurt the brand, but like it's not gonna make a good look on the brand that I'm signed with. So like I got to take this out. Like
and that's part of like the economy of it is like understanding like the balance. And XQC doesn't understand that because he probably made more money doing whatever he's doing than going to the Dallas Fuel Stadium and playing against New York, whatever, Excelsior. You know what I mean? Like it's like for him, that's what esports like.
It was an additional paycheck towards the greater pay. Because he, like I said, he was a guy who loved streaming. He just wanted to stream all the time anyway. So this is just
personality.
Exactly, personality too. So like he's super popular. Like you go to Twitch right now. If he's streaming, he's probably the top Overwatch streamer. Yeah. You know, he's super popular, but it becomes where it's like, so yeah, the Overwatch League becomes just an additional paycheck to that paycheck he was already getting from just streaming. So
and that's why it's like confusing for like the economy of esports is like the NFL started. It wasn't like someone was popular playing football by themselves.
Oh, right, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now you have a different dynamic where this person's actually helping your
league. Yeah, exactly, yeah. He's good at the game and then also can help your brand for the whole thing. Yeah, that is super different.
Yeah, so like where the NFL makes that person's brand.
Right.
And like they get signed by Nike. So like now they have to follow Nike and the NFL's code, you know?
Right,
so like it's not like it was like Michael Jordan was just a player. Yeah. Or like a separate entity and then he joined the NBA. Like where it was like he made the NBA. So like it's different where it's like going backwards with leagues.
That is super interesting actually because you can't be just a good player in any traditional sport, but you can just be a good Overwatch player, be a good CS player. Like that's just what you do. Yeah. And all of a sudden a team's like, hey, we like to sign you. How do you break away from just being a good, like, as I can imagine, you just play basketball, on your local court, you're talking loads of shit.
Hell yeah.
But, like, so, like, who knows? Like, that's super odd. That's, like, so, you can talk shit on your personal stream, but all of a sudden now you got a brand and some NFL manager or owner looking at you being like, hey, fucking stop. And you're like, I don't understand,
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, if you look at the PGR for Smash 4, right, and you go down the list and you'll see, like, who's sponsored and who's not, all right? You'll see, like, okay, he's not sponsored. Why is he not sponsored? Yeah. Is it his personality or is it, like, his stream? And then you'll see, like, the number 19th player sponsored. Right. Right? And the number, like, one player is not sponsored. And you're, like, sitting here, you're thinking, why is the 19th player sponsored and not the second player?
Right, yeah.
And then you got to think, like, okay, what do sponsors actually want out of these people? And it's Smash, too. So, like, I love when I'm looking at people's Twitters and it says Smash 4 player, best whatever, free agent.
Right, yeah.
Are you really a free agent? Or like, is that by choice?
Right, yeah.
And like...
I'm assuming if you put a free agent, you're looking for someone to look at.
Exactly. Like, you don't... Even if you're not that deep as a person, you're still looking for...
Yeah, that's a bit of a thirsty throw out there. You're like, hey, by the way, anyone looking...
Yeah, and then, like, I'm not going to name any names, but I was going through people's Twitters, or, like, my feed, and someone posted a picture of a potential sponsor messaging them.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Yes.
Probably keep that private.
Yes. Yeah. And it was like, are you looking to relocate any, like, from... your state to this state to do, and it was like, LOL, this guy thinks I'm gonna relocate or whatever. I'm like, this is why you're not sponsored. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you are a video game player and you're getting an opportunity, like, so, I mean, like, we're looking to sponsor Wizzy, claim to fame, but like, we're also looking at like, what are we gonna get out of it too? Because like, it's just like, what are we going to get? What's he going to get? Yeah. And like we would consider ourselves like a low to mid-level tier sponsor where like Liquid would be like a pro.
Right, yeah.
And then you got your high sponsors that are like, nationally known but not like pro teams. Yeah. And then like your mids and then your lows, and we're like between low and mid. Like we'll pay for your venue and whatever the case may be. But like we're not a nationally known brand, so like it's not like a high level or medium level. So, but how can like it's more of play on the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, okay, we're part of the community. You're part of the community. Let's partner up and go to the next level together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what we do with, like, you know, our players. It's like, what do they want out of the game? We don't say, hey, listen, you need to stream X amount of hours. You need to go to X amount of tournaments. We just say, have fun with it, you know, wear our tag, you know, be part of the community.
Yeah.
And, like, help with the events.
Yeah.
You know, talk to people. We don't ask them to require them to stream. You know what I mean? Like, some of these things require streaming.
Right, yeah.
Require you to reach out and do the social media. It's not just Twitter.
Right, yeah.
So, like, that's why we would consider ourselves, like, low to mid tier. And some of these players, like, that we've talked to, like, we're not interested in sponsoring them, but they think there's something that they're not.
Right,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And it's like, let's not jump the gun. Like, Nintendo doesn't even sponsor it yet.
Right, yeah.
They're officially a sponsor. They haven't officially sponsored Smash as an esports game with, like, Nintendo backing it. But I see Smash 5 or whatever they're going to do with Smash next level. I mean, Nintendo wants to make money too.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
and, like, they did it kind of with Smash 4 where they supported, like, the first year.
Yeah.
But then that year ended, they got more games to support. They got more games they want people interested in. And it's like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, you know, super sucking their dick of Nintendo, be like, oh my god, yes, Nintendo's finally supporting. Like, probably not the best way to go about it, because who the fuck knows how long they're going to be in the game for? Like, they could this could just be a big advertising thing for them.
Yes.
And, like, they're like, hey, let's slap our name on this because you guys are going to do 99% of the work. We'll give you a little bit of money, and, like, that's it. You know, it's hard.
And some sponsors don't even give you, like, the money. They just say, we're well known.
Yeah.
You are just known in this area. We're going to slap our name on this.
Yeah.
And you're going to run it. And that's it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Like, Monster, like, we technically can use their logo.
Okay.
We don't do it because I'm not confident enough to say, if we have a bad event and Monster's tied to it, like, then that ends everything with Monster.
Right.
So, like, unless we had a stable venue where it's our venue and we can control everything, then that's fine.
Right.
But I'm not going to go out and say Immortal Tech sponsored by Claim to Fame Entertainment and Monster, because if it fails, they lose. They look bad, worse than we do, because only people know us in Albany or Northeast.
Yeah, no one actually. Yeah, that they're a national thing. Like, yo, why?
And they don't really gain anything for being sponsoring the event. I mean, they gave us like 8 free cases of Monster.
Yeah,
that cost them nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? So, like, they'll lose more if it's a worse event, a bad event.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know how you guys are gonna hold it, and stuff like that, you gotta hold. That makes sense. You want to hold back and.
So I mean, that's the ticky tacky with sponsors, is like, they'll throw their name on it, but, like, the minute you mess up, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have confidence in it, but, like, it's our first event,
right? Yeah. You know, and you don't want to just throw your name on there and just be like, look how big we are, and then everything goes horrible.
Exactly.
And it's like, what?
Yeah. Like, your first event, and you're like, oh, Monster's here. You got all these local businesses sponsoring it, and then you fail, and then it's like, what were they trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So, like, I can see that balance being tough, but, like, I think you guys played it well.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like I said, everything is baby steps, and, like, we go with the flow, but there's, like, you know, there's a path of this flow.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, hey, we're gonna do this, let's just throw it to the wind.
Like, if they didn't ask you, like, hey, put our name on this, and, like, why would you necessarily do that? Right. You don't have to.
Exactly. And now, if they were like, listen, we want our names on this, then we would say, okay, well, we need to have a plan together on what we want done. Because if we just do whatever we want, and they are like, whoa, wow, what happened?
Right.
Then you're just screwed. And then you just screw yourself with other sponsors. You blacklist yourself with sponsors.
Right, exactly. You're done. So
I mean, the local, like, there was one event that Adam asked us to get sponsors for an RPI event. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, what are the terms? And he gave me, like, a tier system of like, okay, if you give X amount of dollars, that's what you get. Less is more sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, we had two options. We had a $50 sponsorship. You get your logo out on our, you know, Facebook, website, whatever, on the banner. Mm-hmm. And, you know, logos on the whatever equipment, whatever the case may be. And then we had a $150 sponsorship, which was the booth.
Okay.
Like, you get to come sell your stuff, advertise, whatever. That's it.
Okay.
We didn't have, like, You'll be on the pamphlet, and then we make shirts. We might make shirts. We might not, but if we do, you'll be on the shirt.
Oh, okay.
And it was like way too much. Like
That's a little bit wishy-washy. And like,
right.
Yeah.
You just want to give them less is more sometimes.
Yeah.
You give them maybe even just one option. Hey, $100, you get your logo on here, you're getting pushed, you got your link on your website and all social medias, whatever. And that's all like sponsorships really businesses ask for. Like, what else can you really do for them? Like, make a commercial with them? No. Like, so, like, especially, like, that's, like, grassroots.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. And
keeping it small, but understanding that you're small.
Yeah.
You're not going
like
crazy.
When Adam came to me and was like, hey, can you get sponsors? I said, yeah. I could get on my terms.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, well, this is what we're going to... And then I sent out professional email, all these businesses. They didn't... RPI event, $100 for this, like it's going towards this player, and they didn't care. Like, it's not doing anything for these businesses.
Yeah, you got it's a two-way street.
Right. Yeah. And you have to make yourself look like you know what you're doing and presentable. Like, what is this $50 going to do for us? Yes, this might go into our advertisement costs, but like, what demographic are you really hitting? I mean, the sponsors that we got were like food places. Yeah. So like there's no age limit on food.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're interested in this food. Oh, they sponsored a local gaming event. Let's go check them out.
Yeah, right.
You know, and small businesses that are like trying to do the same thing. We didn't go and throw Monster on that and say, hey, because what is Monster getting out of that? They gave us all their stuff. Yeah. And they, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So.
Yeah, the most I get, like, the most that they would care about is like their name on the Twitch stream.
Right.
Because, like, they don't give a fuck if you're just going to speak to the kids that are locally there. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like, great. They probably already buy the product. Like, you know, like
and it's funny because, so when I sat down with their, like, it's their regional vice president on the East Coast, he was like, okay, well, the main thing we look for is a spike in our product sales. Okay. After an event. So, like, they do a lot of motocross stuff and, like, whatever. So, like, they want to see if, when they do an event, if in that region, wherever that event was there in the following weeks a spike in Monster sales because they were at this event.
Right.
And then that makes sense for them to keep doing these events and whatever. So, I mean, that's any business would work that way. So, like, every time we do an event, you know, they look at our region and they see if Monster sales have gone up. Right. And they can track, like, which Monsters and whatever, you know? So they know what product they gave us and what product spiked, or if not.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
So if it didn't spike for them or moved up or anything, they would just say, why do we need them?
Right, yeah.
You know? So obviously it's been working for them.
That's good.
So
that's good.
Yeah, it builds, you know? Yeah. It builds and builds and builds, and hopefully we can get in with Monster Gaming and actually do something with them, because they have a whole...
They have a whole different... Yeah, they have a pretty big...
And that's a whole separate entity. I mean, it's Monster, but, like, it's a whole different division and this and that. So, like, it's, again, starting at the bottom, talking to them. I mean, that's the most annoying part is, hey, this is what we do, and then going to the next guy, hey, this is what we do.
Right. So, but that's the grind of the whole thing. Yeah. You gotta build.
I love doing it. It's annoying, but it's, like, it's worth it, because, like, what else would I be doing?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. That annoyance, it's like, you know, if you sit back and look, you're like, I could just be sitting at home. Exactly. And it's like, it's that difference of like, at least we're doing something.
Yeah.
It might be annoying to say the same paragraph 6 times now, but at least we're pushing for something. You know?
Yeah, and you know, I think like reading people and seeing their interactions, that's like interesting to me. Like, even if they're like, yo, fuck this dude, like, whatever, you know, at least they'll remember me from something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So even if it's just for 1 week.
Right.
So, I mean, it's interesting. That's why I like owning my own business, or our team, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody gets different benefits out of it. I mean, Big D tried to pick up a girl one time with his, business card.
Oh, wow. There you go.
I don't know if that worked for him. But, like...
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. But, like, like... It's an enjoyment to have, to be like, yeah, I own a business. And,
right. I mean, it's something to fucking say for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just be like, hey, I did, because like, it's so easy to, like, how many people do you know that just fell into the 9 to 5 and then they look at the mirror and they're like, they're 50.
Yeah.
You know, so it's cool to have your own thing that you're building towards, and you're like, oh, this thing was really cool, I'm going to try this thing too, and oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Yeah, because you earned it and you built it, and it's like more satisfying than like, hey, yeah, I got a promotion in my 9 to 5, but like I'm really just doing the man's work anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So it's a little bit more rewarding. You're like,
And
hey,
if you're the man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty fucking. I think what you guys are doing is pretty impressive.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. And I mean, it's funny because like it's all about the community too. Like we could be like, hey, screw everybody else. We're gonna do what we want. You know what I mean? And it will eventually happen.
Yeah.
But like that's not the way we wanted to do it because that just there's no satisfaction in that. It's like, oh hey, like we created this entity and we just threw tons of money at it and then it made us money. Like you know, that's not fun.
No, yeah. And like what you guys do feels so genuine and like just the fact that we're playing Overwatch together, like that would have never happened with like the old guard of like the Smash people where it's like I was donating TVs, going to every event just to go to every event, and like eventually it was just like I'm not a top player, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't care that I'm here and really trying to build the community of the game I love, but they don't care. Yeah. I'm not a top player. I'm like, I would watch people show up and be better than me at the game, and all of a sudden they're getting the special treatment, they're getting talked to, they're getting asked to do certain things. I'm like, all right, I'll just. And it was like the people that were like running the shit never asked me to commentate. It was other people being like, I know you can do this, and I get
right.
I'm like, well, yeah, sure, I'll do it because I want this game to go well, but like. The people that like should be noticing, they don't actually notice. Right. They don't care.
And I think the problem is that there wasn't like a business like us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we focus on that and like building the community and like not just focusing on top players. Listen, we could throw money at Wizzy and be like, hey, we have a top player and he's going to these events and he's winning, he's getting top 4, top 8, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is that doing for the community? What is that doing for us? What, you know what I mean?
It does nothing because at any moment, fucking Team Liquid could look over and go, yo, Wizzy, you're on us.
See ya.
And he goes, fuck it. I'm not doing this.
Well, I mean, the first conversations I had with him, not to spill any beans, but like just to be real, like he was like, I'm waiting for like a bigger name to, I've been talking to. And I said, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a top player for a reason.
Exactly. And I told him, I said, well, what we're trying to build here is like, well, you're from this region, you're from this area. We want people from this area. We could go to New England and say, hey, Mars, he doesn't have a sponsorship. You want a sponsorship from Claim to Fame? This is what we do for you.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, one, we're not at that level yet. And two, like, well, that's two. One is that we don't want to do it.
Right, yeah. It's not what you guys are trying to do now. You guys are trying to build the local Albany Upstate capital agency. Yeah.
Like, we're not just trying to throw our name on like a Mewtwo King or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to do that. And like, I think that's why everything was kind of done backwards before. And
everything was looking to just throw it. It was just throw money at the problem.
Yes.
As opposed to like building that base. Yeah, getting that growing and going from there, as opposed to just like, oh, here's a thing, money.
Yeah, and the best way to build a foundation is have the community do it.
Yeah.
And when they do it, they get more out of it than what you. I mean, like, yes, we like the community, but like I said, if we had PCs, we'd be doing Dota 2 and League of Legends. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, we talked to the CEO of Riot at a PAX East event, and we told him like our main focus was going to be League of Legends and doing like PC gaming.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're still building to that, but we see an opportunity with a community that is there that just needs a little enhancement. So. I mean, that's all it's about. It's just building up those communities. I mean, if there was a League of Legends community, we'd be doing it. Yeah. It's just like, so fractured.
And League is so tough because it is an online game first.
Exactly.
And there's only like, why show up somewhere when you could just come home from work and grind out a couple hours of League? Like there's
and like if your team, you get on Discord and they could be all over the country.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're not going to come to Albany, New York to play a weekly on Monday nights. You know what I mean?
But if you have a little space where people are like, I work right by here. Let me just swing by and I'll do this.
Right.
I'll
just meet other players in the area and stuff.
I'll play a couple of games and I'll, whatever.
So, I mean, it's all about that. And like that, people, I think they see it as business, but it's more than just that. It's about the community and like, we set prices and have money because like we want to be able to do this for people.
Right. Yeah,
It's like, it's a process. It's not just like, hey, we're doing this because we can.
Right, yeah. And like that's the thing, too, is you got to break that barrier of like, well, I can just do it for free. Yes, but this is the additional service we're adding.
Exactly.
That's why we're charging for this.
And like what you're getting out of it, like you want to enhance the community. Like all these guys that play the game, like they know each other. They want to see each other every week. You know, they like, oh, hey, how was your week? How are you doing? You know, it's not just like they come to show up, they lose, they leave. Like,
right, yeah.
I'm more interested on the person that goes 0-2 than the person that wins the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
Because I want them to be like, how can they get better? Like, what are they getting out of it? And Wizzy has shown up to our last couple bi-weeklies, and he just plays friendlies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't even like enter bracket. He just say, hey, if you want some tips and you want to, that's how you get sponsored.
Yeah.
That's how you earn a reputation.
Yeah.
You know, like
that just helps build the community.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
here's a top player just showing up to hang out.
Exactly. And he tweets about it, and then
there you go.
And he has a good time with it.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Like, you think that was happening before?
No.
Okay.
No,
exactly.
That certainly was not.
Exactly. Because it's a process.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's like, what are they getting out of it? And, you know, someone that would never play him because they go 0-2 against a Mitsu and a Grunk.
Right, yeah.
And never play him in bracket. They get an opportunity to play with them, and then he's coaching them saying, hey, listen, you know, I would do this a little bit. I would practice this a little bit more. Now, whatever they do with it is whatever they do with it.
But he's there to give that up. Yeah, that's up to them at that point.
Exactly. What do they want to get out of it?
Right, yeah.
So,
and like it's weird. We're in a weird spot, and like I think I'm like at a weird age where like I experience LAN, but like LAN doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But LAN's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
LAN is so much fun. Like if you guys had a place, I would be there at least once a week with my PlayStation and be like, yo, let's play Monster Hunter. Like, you know, I just want to hang out. Like, it's so fun just to hang out with people and just play like a weird thing where like a couple people are like, yeah, I would totally just do this weird thing with you. Like,
well, that's, I mean, like, I try to do that with Halo.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
But like, how do you market that? How do you advertise that? And what are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to make money, or are you just trying to have a nostalgic feel or whatever? Like, and where do you hit the platform for it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's something that like we specialize in.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna try to go out and like advertise this, well, what are you trying to get out of this event? Like, are you just trying to get people to come to your store to buy games?
Right.
Are you trying to just get people to know that your business is around? Like, I mean, just be real about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, don't try to fake it and then, you know, this, that, and the other.
All right. Yeah, we can just wrap up. But yeah, I think this is like last thing there with just like you facilitate that environment and you just get people to show up and.
Well, that's the thing. Like you say with LAN, it's like, you know, we used to do the Halo things, and it was like, hey, get together, and like, so how do you have a business spin on that, and like, how do you make money so that you can facilitate that more?
And if you have like a space, like the game. You don't have to pick the game anymore.
Right.
You have the space, the games come to you. Like, oh, this is the game that's the new hotness. People are going to show up, play the new hotness.
Exactly.
And then, like, oh, this thing changed. But, like, if you have to start an event where it's like, oh, this Halo thing, like, for 3 weeks, this is awesome. By week 4, you know what? I just got these things coming up, whatever. But, like, you set up a thing. And, like, if you had a space, Monster Hunter, for example, you only need 4 people. So, you know, one day you're like, hey, just come and bring whatever you want, hang out. Meet 3 other people. Hey, you know, it's Wednesday. You just want to hang out and do that? Sure. And we all show up at a space that's like communal space to do that thing. I think it's like,
and so that's the thing with like how Overwatch kind of died for us is because, well, one, it was a summer thing, and then when school started, it died. But at the same time, it was like they were getting beat by the same teams, and there was no camaraderie on the other teams and whatever.
That becomes hard.
Yeah,
like
and so we were like, how can we spice this up? And so we got some plans for this week, but it's still, again, you got to remember, it's just Monday nights.
Right, yeah.
Every other Monday. It's not every Monday night.
Exactly.
So like, it's another.
It's a difficulty with that consistency concept, but like it's just.
And that's why I think when we get our gaming lounge and when we have it, you know, you can do Overwatch and you can make it a big thing because you can have it on a different night.
Right, yeah.
And you can have it consistently every week and you can change it up.
I mean, if you guys were just like, hey, it's Tuesday, do you want to just come over here and play Overwatch? I would.
Exactly.
I would just be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so that's another thing. And then we have food there. So like, it's not just like, you know, paying for like a membership or whatever the case may be. You can eat some food, chill with your friends, and like, you know, watch someone stream or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's a facility for gamers to come and enjoy them being gamers.
Yeah, and I think like when you build that, like, you know, people are like, oh, streaming would be so cool, but they don't know how to do it, but you guys have the shit there for it. And you're like, oh, hey, give it a shot.
Yep.
Try it out, and that kind of thing. So I think what you guys are doing is actually fantastic, and I think you guys are definitely going down the right path, and you're going about it the right way, as opposed to just throwing money at the problem and just like actually trying to reach out to people, figure out what people are doing, understand that things like this exist, and like, hey, let's use this as another place of like, hey, maybe other people would want to do this and stuff like that, and just grow and understand where that can go. So exactly.
And like, I mean, we could have like I said, you can throw all the money into World into
Yeah.
it. Just okay, there is no facility for people to do this.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. That doesn't work.
No.
I mean, examples.
Yeah, it can work, but you gotta build that foundation.
Exactly.
You gotta grow.
You can't
gotta
just
go
throw, hey, I got money, I
Yeah.
got this, I got a place. Like, I mean, we could have gotten a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
That would have been dead.
Yeah,
And it's just about providing what the community
Yeah.
needs or wants.
right,
So,
exactly. So,
So.
everything you guys are doing great.
Thanks.
Definitely thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Stop by. Come by
I wanna
anytime
do
you want.
some- Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
If you even want to just come by and just talk about some bullshit having an Overwatch league, that's fine. I'm totally down.
Yeah, definitely.
We have good rapport. That went on for about 3 hours, just random talking.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
definitely whenever you want to stop by, bring anyone you want.
Yeah, cool.
I have obviously limited space, but we'll work towards that. But yeah, definitely thanks. So is there anything else you want to finally promote on the way out?
I mean, like, promotion is hard for us. I mean, I don't like throwing like, hey, go check this out.
I mean, just like what's your Facebook and on the what platforms do you guys use? Twitch platform?
Yeah,
Facebook?
Facebook is our big thing. Like all our
Okay.
events are on Facebook. We're actually working on our website.
Okay.
We're getting relaunched that in about, I think it should be this month
Okay.
sometime. So claimtofameentertainment.com,
Okay.
and that will be linked with our Facebook with events. So
Nice.
Claim to Fame Entertainment on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see everything. And then Twitter,
Okay.
Reddit, double that.
What's your streaming?
Stream twitch.tv/entertainment.com.
Okay.
Or entertainment, sorry. Claim to Fame Entertainment.
Okay.
And we stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
All right.
And Thursdays is D&D night.
Oh, okay.
So JP does like a campaign with a bunch of guys that do D&D.
No shit. All right. Cool.
It's interesting, but we can always improve that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if anybody tunes into that likes D&D,
Yeah.
they can give them some tips.
Right.
on, like,
And there's definitely a market for that. I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it, but I know it
Exactly.
exists. So.
and once we have a facility, we can generate
Yeah.
like D&Ds and tabletops
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So that's something that
Yeah, that'd be a cool
another
thing.
project.
Yeah. Having like a everyday schedule of
Yeah.
streaming, but
And then Monday nights we obviously stream our
whatever
fight
event.
nights or whatever. So
Yeah.
and
Alright.
Saturday we do squads. Try to do squad games with people, with subscribers
Nice.
and followers. All
All right, cool. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
That's that. All right, cool.
All right,
So,
thanks.
yep. All right, love and kisses.
Yeah.